Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another live stream. And I have a black screen. Okay. So that's great. Let me fix that quickly if I can figure out where the button is. Oh my god. Where's the button? Please. Okay, I found it. Boop. Okay, so today we're gonna be doing some reactions. By the way, I know the thumbnail is feces, but you know what? It doesn't matter because guess what? It's too inconvenient. Alright, so, well, this is the video that's the thumbnail and title is based off of. We're going to save that for later, because, by the way, I'm very excited about this. But first, we're going to start off with, this video right here. When cops make 1 in a billion discoveries. Okay. Wait. Okay. I'm looking at the person's face. That's just blurred out, I think. I don't know. It looks like there's a waffle put on top of him.
Most of a cop's career.
Oh my god, that was the hair. Oh jeez. Alright, well this is a great start, bro. I actually thought the hair was a waffle. Like I thought they just like lightly put a waffle over the head to censor it. But no.
Involves simple calls, but on some very rare occasions, they can make truly insane discoveries that turn into huge conspiracies and major crimes.
How much? Okay. So I don't know how much, because, you know, American, 4 kilograms in pounds. How much is that? 8.8 pounds of, wait, what? Oh, well, okay, I mean, is that a lot? I don't know. I don't know anything about drugs, so can't really tell you much if that's a lot.
If you fight, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Turn around.
These are some of the most unbelievable 1 in a billion discoveries police made by complete
1 in a
chance.
billion.
When officers in Florida spotted a car with an expired license, they started a traffic stop that ended with one of the most shocking discoveries this department had ever made. But let's take a step back and start from the beginning.
I'm Officer Patino with the Orlando Police Department. There was some, you have your driver's license with you?
Yeah, I was
Cool.
speed.
No.
Oh.
Are you the owner of the vehicle?
No, no, sir.
Who's the owner of the vehicle?
Okay.
You have any weapons in the vehicle I should know about? You got any weapons in the vehicle I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask a question. It's gonna sound stupid. What if you lie about that? It sounds stupid because, like, well, why would you lie about that? But what if you lied and said you didn't have weapons, and they never searched the vehicle? Then what? Nothing. My point is like, why tell them you have weapons? What is that gonna accomplish? I mean, maybe if they search your vehicle, but if you're just a normal civilian, they will never search your vehicle. Unless they're a rogue cop, I guess. I mean, it's not a good idea to lie. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying. I don't get why they ask that. Actually, no, I get it. The reality is the people who tell the truth and say I have a weapon in the car to a police officer would be the type of people who wouldn't pull it out and try to shoot. The people who wouldn't say anything are the type of people who would obviously be the problem. So, it's a kind of a silly question. I don't know. Because the people who are actually going to use it in the wrong way are not going to tell you.
You mind lowering the window for him, too?
Sure, let me call you right back.
But I get it's for their safety.
You have the registration insurance with you?
Yes.
Hey, what are you doing?
I got it.
Oh, okay.
I call him.
This stop started out like any other. Lots of paperwork and discussions of documents, but quickly the officer noticed something that warranted further investigation.
You good? All right, good. So I'm gonna be honest with you, all right?
Yes, sir.
You should be honest with me. All right? I smell the odor of marijuana coming from
I don't
within the
smoke.
vehicle. All right, so
Oh,
let me
come
finish.
on, bro. Come on. This is so stupid that people are still going to jail for this.
Is there anything in the vehicle I should know about?
No, my brother smokes, and I was just around him.
All right, cool. So you mind stepping out for me?
Yeah, let me call my phone.
No, just step. You don't have to right now. It's all good. Just step out for me.
Yeah, I guarantee right now where all these videos are going, by the way. I know for a fact this... every single suspect in this video will escalate the situation. Including this guy. I know for a fact he's about to step out and put hands.
I really don't want to step out, man, because
No,
then that
maybe
means
not.
I'm
No, that means I'm gonna search you. No. Stop.
Okay.
Right now, you're gonna listen.
All right.
All right.
Oh, I,
Step
okay,
back.
I'm
Put your weapons
surprised.
on you.
No.
Let me see that hand.
Bro,
Put your hands
cooperate.
up.
That's incredible. Props to
Anything
this
sharp in
man.
your pockets, any weapons. You're gonna find them.
I don't smoke, man.
Just warn me.
Okay.
I'm asking if you have weapons.
No, I don't have no weapon.
What is it, July 5-1? What are you on probation for?
I'm on federal probation, man.
For what?
Drug conspiracy.
Okay, so he's on probation for drugs. Oh, I wonder what they're gonna find. I wonder.
What are you doing now? Where are you working?
I work with Florida Psych Services. I'm just coming from work in Winter Garden.
Have a seat on that black bumper.
You want to check it? That's fine.
That is a weird place to have a seat. What?
Oh, your license is good at least. So we got a nap.
But if I get pulled over, man, that's an automatic.
No, but why? Automatic what?
I'm getting pulled over.
You're right, but you're not doing anything wrong, right?
No,
All right, so you're good.
I wonder why I'm getting pulled over.
Well, we told you the reason why we're pulling you over, because the owner of the vehicle doesn't have a valid driver license, right? And then, all right, one time,
My
try.
brother smoke, man. I
Okay, I got
just
you.
live, I
Cool,
don't
cool, cool.
smoke,
That's
man.
fine. So, like I'm saying, so you should be good, right?
Yeah.
All right, so relax.
Yeah, man.
Relax.
This traffic stop took
I'm
place
not gonna lie. I've never been pulled over. If I did, I would probably make it seem like something suspicious happening because I'd be so nervous. And it'd be like, "Oh, sir, what are you doing? What are you
before
doing,
weed was
sir?"
legalized in Florida. Today in Florida, it's not likely a cop will be able to search your car because of the smell of marijuana, but in 2019, it was all they needed to claim probable cause. The driver is
crazy.
cooperating, but you might
I think that's
notice he's
the fact that it's still even a thing in other states, I think is ridiculous because it should not. It's just putting more people in jail that don't need to be put in jail.
starting to get pretty agitated, almost like he's got something to hide.
So same thing. While talking to you, that's when the whole odor marijuana came out. I'm like, all right, just gotta make sure you have a good driver license. Go on your way, but now I gotta verify. Okay, so perfect.
My brother smoked, man, and I just smoke him around.
Gotcha. So what do you work at?
Florida Psych Services.
Okay. You drive the trucks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You just got off of work?
Huh?
You just got off of work?
Just got off,
And
man.
who's the owner? You said your sister or wife? Or
Yeah, I just called. That was who I was talking to.
Wife, sister,
No, girlfriend.
girlfriend. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Just make sure that they're not to drive. Yes.
The driver is trying to explain where the smell of weed has come from and denies smoking it himself, but he still comes
Okay.
across as nervous. The officer's partner heads around the back to
Okay,
investigate the trunk, and he can't believe what he's
Oh,
found.
oh.
Before he even says what he's found, he knows he has to get the man into custody immediately.
Okay, what do you find? If it's gonna be something stupid, isn't it?
If you fight, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Turn around.
Oh no, I know exactly what it's gonna be. It's gonna be drugs. God, just cut to the moment.
Have a seat. You wanna talk about what's in the car?
Sir, I just swapped cars. I'm on my way to that. That is not my car. I have a black Ford truck. I just swapped the car, and I just.
You got anything else on you?
No.
Come back here.
Okay,
Go look at that backpack.
can you show what's in the car, please? I'm saying that as if it's like they're making content. They're not.
His story seems rehearsed, and it's no surprise given exactly what he's got stashed away.
Rehearsed?
The man was transporting drugs, which isn't necessarily unusual, but it's the exact amount that stops the officer in his tracks and explains why their suspect was so nervous.
Ooh, Jesus.
Oh wow, it was right in the open.
Jesus.
4 kilos.
I wonder if he's so nervous. I'm literally telling him why he's so nervous.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be a bad cop then because I didn't notice him being nervous for me remotely. Like in my mind, that guy was just you know, just normal. I don't know. He acted like a normal civilian would. So, don't hire me.
Bravo 5-2. Actually, Bravo 5-2 to Bravo 50. Bravo 5-2 to Bravo 50.
This is what I hate about watching these people, by the way. I respect these people who make these videos because they have to go through raw police footage, which is probably boring, and problem is they don't edit out the boring parts. Like, this is just not... There's nothing really happening. Oh, never mind, they edited it. Okay, so I was complaining for nothing.
This is what 4 kilos of cocaine looks like. Florida law says that carrying this much cocaine can come with a mandatory minimum prison sentence of 15
What? Oh my.
years and a
Wow, I'm
$250,000 fine.
I did
So
not
it's
know it was that
likely it'll be a
bad.
long time before this driver sleeps outside of a cell again. But drugs are actually a
Wow.
fairly tame discovery in a cop's world. Instead, let's take a look at the 30-year-old secret that this evil driver was hiding.
But because you're driving on suspended license, you got a bit of energy.
Sir, I did not know. I have children. I have a sick
Alright,
uncle,
I'm sorry. You should know.
and I run the household.
I got you.
No, I really
You
do.
don't have a choice at this time.
Please,
So, place you
Auntie.
in arrest. Go ahead and turn around and put your hands on your back, please.
Atlanta deputies were doing random registration checks on passing drivers in August 2022 when they came across a man with a suspended license. Pretty innocent at first, but just wait until you see what he was hiding.
What's your last name?
Sakim?
Sakim. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have you go and step out the vehicle for me.
She's gonna come and get me. Yeah, so you're about 57 minutes away from me. I was almost at the hospital.
Take this off for me.
What was that he's wearing? I don't know.
I didn't go.
What
I don't know the
is
name of this place.
that? Okay, I'm getting distracted. But seriously, what is that? That's just weird. I don't know.
We'll get it figured out. We'll text it to you. That's Prince Avenue.
It's
All right,
Prince
so here's what's gonna happen, Sakim. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to place you in custody today. Okay. You're gonna go down to jail.
Oh no.
You gotta get booked in. They're gonna take your fingerprints and picture, and you'll get a bond.
He
Okay,
was
for
pulled over
what?
while driving down US Highway 78, and at first it seemed like a routine stop, but this driver's problem started when he handed over his South Carolina driver's license. The name on the license was Rice, and not only was it suspended,
Oh.
but so was his registration, and he didn't even have insurance. Rice was headed for trouble. He
Oh.
could be facing 12 months in jail for having no insurance alone, so he decides he
Alright, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know how to feel about that. That seems a little stupid. Like, why is it required? I get why it's required to have insurance. At the same time, bro, going to jail for that? I don't know. I don't know. It just seems a little ridiculous.
he's going to try and talk his way out of it.
Sir, I did not know. I have children. I have a sick uncle, and I run the household.
I got you.
No, I really
You
do.
don't have a choice at this time.
Please
So,
put
place you in
Auntie-
arrest. Go ahead and turn around and put your hands on your back, please.
Please put
Turn
Auntie
around
on
and
the
put your hands
phone.
on your back. Just set your phone up on the car.
They're putting me
Dang.
under arrest right now. I don't know.
For driving with suspended license.
And your license.
Oh, that's why? Okay. Wait, so you're telling me... Okay, I guess I don't know how long his suspension was, but if you're telling me... Actually, no, I highly doubt if you've been suspended for like a couple days. Wait, suspended. Wait. Suspended... Wait, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. No, okay, well, let's do Alabama, sure. Oh, I'm actually slow. Okay, so I was thinking when they said suspended, I thought they meant they needed to renew it, as in like, oh, expired. Oh, you need to renew it, because that's a feature. But no, actually, it's when you did something wrong. So this guy did something wrong already. So yeah, I don't feel bad for this guy at all.
Didn't know. And it's not even showing.
Unfortunately, the law is different here in Georgia than it is in South Carolina. If you have a suspended license, you have to go down to the jail and get booked in.
You're telling me in South Carolina, if you have a suspended license and you're driving, it's legal? What?
But driving without a license is technically a misdemeanor in Georgia. It's considered a serious misdemeanor offense, and the cop is absolutely correct when they put the driver in cuffs, despite his desperate pleas to let him go.
Sir, please.
What all do you need out of your car?
Sir, I have a child at the house that they cannot
Oh
take care
my
of.
god.
What all do you need out of
So
your car?
I would feel bad for this guy, but like, dude, if you got a suspended license, you messed up, so. And you know about it too, so you shouldn't even make this excuse. I don't know. Oh my god. No, you knew.
Sir, I beg you. I beg of y'all. I will not touch my car. You will take my keys out.
What all do you need out of your car?
I only need a family. That's it. I do for my entire
What officers could be looking at here is nothing but a distraught father anxious to get back to his family, knowing being booked by the officers will keep him away from home until his release. But what's more likely is that he's now starting to panic due to the fact he's just given the cops a fake name. A fake name that'll
Oh.
carry serious consequences for him when the cops realize this too.
Sir, I do for my entire family.
Okay. Well,
Do you know
I don't have a choice here, man. I'm telling you.
I told you I was
Okay,
not
so
gonna get in my
basically
car.
that's
I
idiotic.
swear to you, I wasn't going to get in
You
my
have a
car.
suspended license. You're driving a car without insurance. You got that taken
I've
care
been
of.
doing it every
You got
day.
suspended registration. You have to go down to the jail
You
and
just
get
say you've
booked
been
in.
doing it every day.
Take your photograph. They're going to take your fingerprints. They give you a bond
Oh.
amount. You can bond out, and then you can get on the way up to the hospital. But you can't drive.
Sir,
Have a seat for me,
okay,
please.
all right, may I speak after you?
Have a seat for me.
Are you going to
Sit down, and then I'll listen to you. Okay, so what do you want to tell me?
on everything? My aunt just had a stroke. My uncle just had a stroke 2.5 weeks
Dang.
ago. I'm here helping my family. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a crook. I look how old I
Did you
am.
get a ticket or something?
I didn't
to
get-
take care of.
I
mean,
don't-
why would they suspend your license in South Carolina?
I just found out speaking to the deputy.
Yeah.
I just found out that maybe when we had a car that I had that got repossessed, that I didn't take my name off of it.
Okay.
Um,
I wouldn't imagine that they'd suspend you for a repossession.
Eventually, they got the driver to the station and took his fingerprints.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
it's
when they
over.
discovered his true identity, and suddenly these cops realized they'd found a wanted fugitive. This would explain his nerves,
Oh.
stuttering, and desperation not
Okay,
to be
that's
taken away
crazy.
by police.
Okay, so wait, you're telling me that they know they have a wanted man, but they don't know what he looks like. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I gotta stop stuttering. Basically, why I'm confused is because it's like you would think that, it'd be like, oh, I see him. Oh, I know who that is. But I guess not necessarily because they're not looking at pictures of people either. I don't know.
Just know that. Can you speak to my aunt? Just speak to my aunt because I do everything for the house.
Okay.
I do everything. My
So,
son is
this
here.
is
He's
probably
only
all a
13
lie,
years
let's be
old.
honest.
He does not know what's going on. This is. I don't. Can you let my cousin know wherever it is I'm going? Can you let them know where it is to find me?
Yeah, so when you get there, you'll be able to call them.
Back at the station, they discovered that this man is not named Rice at all. This is Muhammad, and cops have been looking for him for almost 30 years. This
What?
chance encounter has uncovered more than just traffic violations. It's uncovered a murderer that's been hiding since 1994. 28 years ago,
Oh
an
my
18-year-old man was
God.
shot in the face, and he died at the scene. His killer had been on the run ever since. But finally, his
Okay, yeah,
victims
now it makes sense why they didn't know who he was. Okay. So this guy actually was really intelligent. There's a reason why he didn't have insurance. Okay, it all makes sense. But then again, how do you get your license suspended? I don't get it. Like, you would imagine if you got your license suspended, they would acknowledge, hey, you're wanted.
family would
Like, as in, they'd be looking for you.
see justice, as Muhammad wasn't going to escape this time. He has since been indicted on a murder charge, and as of December 2023, he's still awaiting trial and sentencing. If you're interested, the statute
Wow.
of limitations does usually result in unsolved charges older than 10 years being thrown out, but any crime that results in death or would warrant life in prison is exempt from this, meaning Muhammad will be receiving the full charge. Muhammad
Oh.
didn't want to give up his secrets, but it seems this man thought the exact
I'm sorry. Okay. If I was in that situation, I would have ran away. Just saying. That's like the one time I'd run away. Because you got away with it before.
Act opposite and made a shocking
No, I'm just
confession
playing.
about what he was hiding in his house.
There's blood splatter on the wall, and she's covered up. Her face is covered up.
32-year-old Amberly had not been seen by anyone for several days. In August 2023, her co-workers called 911 to report her missing. Police knew she was living with her 55-year-old boyfriend Tommy, as he had been convicted of domestic violence against Amberly in April 2022. They needed to find out if she was okay, but as soon as they got to her boyfriend's house, he made things much easier for them than they expected.
Is Amberly here? Amberly? She passed away.
What? Okay, this guy's stupid. If you're, I mean, that's just like, if you're trying to make it yourself be fine and clear, you don't just, oh, jeez. You could have said, like, oh, she went on vacation or something. I don't know.
I can't read. I shot her. Okay, hold on, come here. Where is she?
His quick confession shocks officers, and straight away they place him in cuffs.
Okay, hold on, come here.
Where is she?
Outside. There you go. Just put your hand in my back.
Where
Brady,
is she?
watch inside, Brady.
What?
26, hold channel. Start us 4 units.
Please make yourself known! Please make yourself known!
Okay, you're good. Do you have any weapons on you?
Amberly was found inside the house with a devastating shotgun wound to the head. Officers have to find
Okay.
out what went down for one man to murder his girlfriend and live with her body for days.
I never understood why you need to figure out the reasoning. Like, yeah, it's like a good idea just to like know, like, why did this happen? Why did the crime take place? But is it really necessary? No, it's a waste of time and a lot of, like, I mean, this guy's probably gonna spill the beans, but most people probably wouldn't. So it's like, why press him? I don't know. It just, if you know who did it, why get the motive?
Just a
don't
minute
need
to
it.
shooting our victim here, so we're trying to figure out further. What's your name? Tommy? Okay.
Just sit in your car.
Yeah, we'll work that out in a second, but I gotta make sure my guys inside are okay.
Like phone.
All right. Rungi, you guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Hold on.
Sorry.
Tommy, I'm gonna read you something real quick, okay?
Miranda right.
Yeah. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney before making a statement and have your attorney with you during questioning. You cannot afford an attorney desire one, the court appoint one for you. You may stop questioning any time by refusing to answer further or requesting consult with your attorney. Do you understand these rights, Tommy? All right. Is there anyone else inside? Is it just her? Okay. Is it just Amberly? All right. Is it contained in there? When did all this just happen?
Sunday night. So Monday morning, Sunday.
Monday morning.
There's a gun in one of the rooms down.
No, the gun's under the bed.
On the bed? All right.
They found
I
the
don't know
murder weapon
why-
exactly where Tommy told them it would be, and now they had to understand not just how this man could shoot his girlfriend, but how he could act so calmly about it. From the
No, they don't
officer's
have to
description, the
understand
scene
that.
inside is like something from a horror movie.
So, I'm not going in there. One person to check.
Okay. We're gonna wait on the. We're gonna wait on that until more people get here. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got his
It's.
Yeah, I'm gonna put. I got put on 4 lead to verify completely.
I wanna.
Do you have a time frame of all this?
Monday.
Between the bed and the.
That's what we heard. He shot her Monday. He said.
Well, I didn't see what this initial call was.
A well-being check.
Somebody else called about it.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah. There's blood splatter on the wall, and she's covered up. Her face is covered up.
Yeah, no, this guy's crazy, bro. You can live in a house like that? Well, that's just disgusting. Living in a house like that. And the fact is, he's not the only person in the world who's ever done that. There's probably plenty of cases of people being weird.
Yeah, he covered it. Or something's covered.
a well-being check, that dude?
He was here at the house.
Often, when people are involved in accidental killings, they can experience feelings of PTSD or even guilt, shame, and grief. Tommy could be realizing the implications of this supposed negligence if this was an accidental death. But as the officer is about to learn, Amberly's death was far from an accident.
How does he?
Just
Okay.
take a seat. I'm gonna leave this door closed.
Why is this guy just confessing?
You good?
I don't get it. I guess he just
Do you
doesn't
need a
care.
squad or anything to check you out? All right. Do you want to tell me What happened here?
We're fighting. He's trashing my shit again.
Okay. Do you want to tell me what happened here? When were you guys fighting?
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning? What started the fight?
Her trashing my shit.
What was it? What was it?
She was selling my TV and
What?
stuff.
Okay. And then what happened?
I lost control.
Okay,
You
yeah,
what
so
now?
this is just a case of, like, we needed to investigate him further. Because when he had a previous charge, we should have... Well, when I say we, I shouldn't... Well, I don't know who, but someone should have, like, been like, hey, this guy really needs to be under some sort of doctor's, like, mental health physician or whatever it's called, right? Because he clearly had problems, especially because he had a previous charge, bro. Like, come on. Then again, who, like, is it really... It's not the government's responsibility to do that, and if the wife doesn't force it, then, like, who's gonna do it? No one. It's the problem. I mean, I guess the best thing you could do is, like, I guess the government could look at it and be like, if you have a charge and it looks pretty bad, maybe, and it looks like you are the reason why, and it looks like you're out of control, maybe, then, like, put you into some sort of mental health thing? I don't know. I don't know what the solution to the problem is, but I feel like it could have been solved. Because he clearly had an issue. It was obvious.
Lost control.
Lost control? What made you lose control?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
No.
So when you say you lost control, what do you mean?
Shot.
What'd you shoot her with? 20 gauge?
Go ahead.
Alright, so it was a shotgun you shot her with?
Hey, I gotta get my body camera. Do you guys need anything from the office at this point?
Over.
I don't believe so.
Alright, Tommy, you okay right now?
7:30.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on you, but I'm gonna roll down this window a little bit, alright?
This is the kind of thing cops hear all the time. Two people end up fighting and one loses control. If you throw a weapon in the mix, then the results can be deadly. But what's more disturbing is just how long Tommy stayed in the house while his girlfriend's
Yeah,
lifeless
okay,
body
so you're gonna... I'm gonna guess it's probably almost a week.
simply laid on the floor.
Do you know what today is right now?
Oh, I don't want to know this.
How long you been inside the house for?
Where?
3 or 4 days? Have you left the house or anything?
3 to 7. There's no one else at the office.
You
Yeah,
been
this
shocked
is...
since? Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
The worst part is, I guarantee this guy, if nothing happened to him, like no one checked the house, he probably would have kept it there for weeks. Weeks, bro. He would have lived like that, bro. Like, ooh, get out of here, bro. I don't know. I don't know. That guy's just completely mentally ill.
You don't know what today is, though?
That's relatable, though. What day is it, bro?
Do you know what month it is? Who's the president?
Even though Tommy has
Oh,
confessed,
he
the real
doesn't
truth
know.
has yet to be uncovered. But as he's taken in for interrogation, it all becomes too much for him to deal with.
What's going on? You shot your girlfriend? Okay.
So, real quick, who lives there?
Everybody lives.
Whose name's on the lease?
Mine.
Your name's on the lease? Okay.
So, real quick, man, do you mind if we search your residence? Kind of walk me through the process of how this kind of went through. And before we kind of begin with that,
To me, this is all, like, overdoing it. Like, you don't need to figure all this out. Like, I don't... Do we really need to know all that? I guess? Well, okay, no, now I get... Okay, now I thought about it. Yeah, the motive is important, I guess, for helping the defense. Like, no, because even then, it's like... Once you find out a motive, it's kind of like there's no way of getting out of the charge. You're going to lose. Like, you're going to lose in court and just go to jail. So, I don't know. What is the point?
we have officers that are at your house right now, okay? Obviously, we need to be able to kind of process that scene effectively, and what'll make that scene processing a little bit easier is if you take one from this consent to search form and allow us access to search your own. Is that okay? Okay. So I'm gonna walk this through with you real quick.
Oh, that's the other thing I was gonna comment on earlier. They just walked in the house without a search warrant? Like, bro, what? But now they want a search warrant? Oh no, wait, they want a consent of search. I'm confused.
Okay. Obviously, we need to be able to kind of process that scene effectively, and what'll make that scene processing a little bit easier is if you take one from this consent to search form and allow us access to search your own.
What? Why do you... Okay, I don't get it. I thought once something became a crime scene, you can't just be like, oh, well, we need consent. Like, if it's a crime scene, bro, you don't need to... I don't know.
Is that okay? Okay. So I'm gonna walk this through with you real quick.
I don't know
okay?
law, so
So how it
whatever.
works is that you're gonna sign your name right here.
Until finally, the detectives decide he needs medical help.
Do you know where you are right now? Independence what?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to go to the hospital so they can see what's going on with you?
What might be making Tommy feel so sick is what the detectives find out next.
Oh,
It turns
come
out
on.
Amberly had a life insurance policy taken out on her for
Oh,
accidental death and
okay,
dismemberment, and it was
so-
worth $20,000.
Oh,
As you may
it's- okay, so it's not even that much. Like, dude, come on. Come on. I mean, it's always comes down to these things, too. I kind of forgot about that. It's not something, you know, an average man like me thinks about, but it's a thing that these people who need money think about.
expect the sole beneficiary of that money was Tommy, but
Of
now he's
course.
lost it all. That policy was taken out November 2022, 6 months after he was convicted of beating Amberly and just weeks before the murder. Tommy will likely be facing life in prison when his case finally hits the courts. Tommy would have
Yeah.
eventually been found out when Amberly's body inevitably began to smell, which is what told officers at this next house that something was very, very wrong.
Oh, come
Before
on.
you ever even came outside, then you were telling me mom's not in there, and you know damn well that she was in there. And you're lying to me.
So why wouldn't you just tell us the truth?
It wasn't just the smell of Laney's
Why wouldn't they tell us the truth? Okay. That question just makes me angry. Like, they act like they would never tell a lie in that situation, or they've never told lies ever. Like, come on, bro.
decomposing body that told officers something was wrong. As her son's behavior was so evasive, they must have known what they were going to find before they even walked through the door. Laney hadn't been answering her cell phone for a week. Every attempt sent the calls to voicemail, and her friends and family were starting to get worried. Of course, under such strange circumstances, the police decided to make a welfare check.
The other
Decomposing body that told
come
off going to
on.
week.
I don't get why you. By the way, YouTube keeps randomly doing that. Stop.
the other side of Reek's bed.
Okay, this setup is
Hello?
very questionable.
Sheriff's office. Somebody in there? Hello?
It's a very questionable setup indeed. It's like, how do you live life this messy, bro? Like, dude, it's very bad, bro. Like, dude, like, what is this right here, bro? Like, I could sit here all day and question everything. Placement of
So I'll
everything.
bring it back or whether it's just the other door smells like a 7.
A 7? What does that even mean? They have code words for smell. I mean, code numbers. Same difference.
This place is a disaster. You smell it?
No, I do.
Those come out who's asked the neighbors, I guess, see if they see anybody. There's Reese right there, right?
A little bit. Watch your head.
Yeah, I saw him. Let's go to the neighbor. The one next to us over here. See if there's anybody over here.
Yeah, okay, I need to, what is this? Explain, how do people live like this, bro? I don't get it.
Let's go to the neighbor. The one next to us over here. See if there's anybody over here in a minute.
With nobody answering the door, the police decided to call in her neighbors to see if they can help.
Have you seen Lainey recently?
The girl?
Yeah, next door neighbor.
Just the guys over there.
When's the last time you seen them?
Him, he usually walks up and down the road, but her, I haven't seen her in a while.
How long would a while be? Days, months?
Day or two.
Couple days.
Three
Yeah.
3 days or something like that.
When's the last time you seen the boys?
Yesterday.
Okay, so nobody today.
Mm-mm.
Have you heard any fighting, anything in the last 2 days? Any
When's the
loud
last time you
commotion?
seen her? I know it would be not abnormal for you to hear yelling and screaming coming from over there. So.
No.
Nothing.
No,
We're kind of new to the neighborhood, too. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's been a lot different things going on here, so it's weird. We're not used to it.
no, more quiet.
Yeah.
I used to live right down there behind the Circle K in Cleveland, Dalewood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, and man, that's so cool back there. You don't worry about nothing. You know what I mean? It's nice and quiet. I know all the neighbors held 50 years, boy. They come up here and all kind. This is just way different from me, but I'm doing good.
All right, that's all that matters. That you guys are doing good.
According to the neighbors, a man was living at the house as well, and police were surprised and confused to discover that it was her son, Justin. Normal at first, but sinister when you realize Lainey had taken a no-contact order out on Justin just weeks
A
before
no
this welfare
contact
check.
order? What
He
does that
should-
mean? What is, okay, well now I have to investigate. No contact order? Come on, spell properly. Stalking typically includes the details. The distance. Okay, so it basically is a restraint. What was that? What is it called? Oh, I forgot. There's like a thing where it's like, oh, you can't go too close to me. So basically, okay, yeah. What is it called, bro? What is that one word called? Bro. Skibidi Toilet has been added to Fortnite Peak. Bro, get out of here. I've heard about it. Don't care.
Shouldn't have been anywhere near the house. Never mind living there. But when he
Okay,
finally
maybe I do
makes
care. Okay, I know this is gonna be sidetracked, but I actually want to see this. Because I have no clue. This is actually real? Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Oh. There's a whole article, bro. Oh my god, shut up. Do you like video games? Horrible. Okay, yep, this guy sucks at writing. Like, bro. Have you ever wanted to control Indiana Jones? Like, bro, this is the worst. Oh my god, bro. Get out of here, bro. This guy sucks. Wait, that's from the New York Times? Oh my god, they have the worst author. Oh my god, wow, their author sucks. I just want to see like this whole skin thing. I don't even want to log into Fortnite right now, so I just want to see what this whole thing is about. So it's actually like a back bling? I don't know. I don't know why it matters, but oh, whatever. I'm not even surprised. I would not call it peak.
makes an appearance, police discover a myriad of red flags.
Did you hear us knocking before? Were you knocked out?
No, I was sleeping in there.
I'm glad you woke up because you're about to come inside. We're looking for Mom. Have you seen her?
She's not around right now.
Do you know where she's at? His sister's asking for her. She's not in any trouble or anything like that.
Oh yeah, so basically this guy has a restraining order. That was the word. That was the word I was looking for. Okay, so yeah. Obviously this guy's it's just, I'm not going into the details. Why is your audio so low compared to the other videos I've watched? What do you mean? My audio's low, bro. Well, oh. Yeah, so for videos, I up the audio by 10 times. Because, I don't know why, but my mic is very quiet on streams. I don't get it. Makes me angry.
A few days ago.
Where'd she go?
She just went to the store.
Since you back in a while.
Yeah, bro definitely realizes he's just gonna get just destroyed. Like, he's contemplating, how am I gonna get out of this? You can't, buddy.
Is it that normal for mom to be gone for days at a time?
Sometimes.
Where does she usually go? Does she have a favorite place where she likes to go when she's not home?
Not that I know of.
Does she tell you anything out of the normal when last time you saw her?
No.
What happened the last time you guys were together?
She gave me a few cigarettes and a little bit of food.
We know that's not true.
Some hand soap to wash my hands. And told me I could come stay back.
Okay, so bro's lying. Okay, dude. How is that possible when you clearly have an issue if there's a restraining order? You can't just be like, oh, she wanted me in her house. Like, no.
Okay.
There was issues,
But
clearly.
you haven't seen mom since then.
Oh, I don't know what. Oh, never mind. I don't know what he said that was, though.
When's the last time you text, called her, or anything like that? Okay.
When was the last time
I'm
you
just
saw
waiting
Dad?
for the discovery at this point.
A week ago.
Do you know where he's staying at?
No. I heard that she might have called the cops on him.
Yeah, he got arrested the 20th.
Oh, I thought that was saying. I thought this was saying he got. Oh, never mind.
For trespassing?
Do you know who stays in the tent?
Oh,
That's what I
ew.
was saying before she went in.
Fly. Oh, get out of my
She told you to
ears.
come before she
The
left?
fly audio is disgusting.
Would it be alright if they just went inside to make sure she's not in there?
It's not my house.
Huh?
I can't
Bro,
tell her.
okay, I'm gonna get disgusted in a second, bro. Get that fly out of my eyes and ears, please.
Okay.
Business.
But you stay here and it's your mom's house?
Listen.
Then we're looking for mom, so we just want to make sure mom's not stowed away in a closet or something. Dad didn't come back and retaliate for getting arrested or something like that. So, if you're not gonna tell me yes or no, then we're just gonna peek our head in there real quick and then we'll come back outside. You can lead
What?
the way if you're so pleased.
Wait, I thought you need. Okay, this is why the whole search warrant thing confuses me. Because don't you need a search warrant to do that? Or maybe because he consented? But did he really consent? Because they just said, oh, well, I'm going to peek in. Like, that's not really consent. That's not a question.
You could go in, but you could go in. Just lead us through it.
Oh, my God.
Do you have a key?
Justin is claiming to have conveniently just now locked himself out and doesn't have a key. He appears to be consenting to a search, but even if he didn't, these
I
cops
don't
would still
call it
technically be able
consent.
to enter the house. Usually they'd need a warrant, but if there's evidence in plain sight of the cops in a lawful position, or they're unable to contact the subject of the welfare check, they're permitted to enter even without a warrant. This
Really?
means that
Okay, I
all
did
of
not know
Justin's
that.
delaying tactics are pointless and only a waste of the officer's time.
Why would you lock the door behind you?
I just usually do that.
So how do you get
you know.
I don't know.
How about this other little door that's over here?
It's just barricaded up.
Okay, why would we barricade doors?
What the hell? What's the deal?
Trying to fuck with you, you're
You understand how this looks, right?
saying. Yes, sir.
So how do you get in the house since you locked the door?
I'm probably sleep in the tent or.
Yeah, oh yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, he has a tent outside of his house. Like, excuse me? Bro has a whole house and sleeps in a tent. Don't get it.
Are you not supposed to be in the house? Is that why you locked the door?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's fine. We're not worried about that. We just
My
want to
main
make
concern
sure.
right now is finding mom.
That's it.
If you know you're not supposed to be here, that's on whatever. We can deal with that at a later point in time. I really don't care about that.
Yeah.
My main goal is making sure mom's okay, find mom, and do that. That's what we're here for. We're not here for you because you were sleeping in the bed or whatever. Okay. So, obviously, you went in and unlocked it from the inside. Did you get in? Did you just push that one thing open to get in from the other door?
Do you mind doing that for us right now?
Ooh.
So push it into the right.
How do they
Keep
know?
pushing it in. Now try to move it out.
Okay, I'm sorry. How do they know how to open the door, but he doesn't? This guy's gotta be dumb.
And then push it out. There you go.
Oh, what? Oh, never mind. That.
There we go.
Did he just teach how to break open a door? What is going on? Oh. The cleaning supplies are suspicious.
When they gain entry to the house, the officers' worst fears come true.
I mean, yeah, he looks so worried right now.
Are you
He's
sure mom's not in there?
screwed.
I don't know. I just stayed in my room, stayed in my living room.
We're already in, so we're gonna find out. So
I understand, friend.
So you're gonna tell me you didn't know mom was in there?
No, sir.
Oh, nah.
Jennifer, come back. Because now they got a whole bigger issue. Call 400 and have them come out here.
It's another case of this idiot. Oh my God, living with a carcass in his room. Like, bro, what are we doing? Why are people doing this? Don't get it. Like, that's what I'm assuming would happen.
417, 400. I'm gonna need you to come out here. This is gonna be a bigger issue.
It seems unlikely that Justin had no idea his mother was dead inside the house. The smell of a decomposing body is unmistakable and for most of us, unbearable to be around. If he's been living in the house all this time, then it's going to look very suspicious.
Okay.
I really don't.
I got you. Well, that will conclude our portion of our interview. Is there anything you wish to add, change, or delete from what you...
Charged with failing to report death to a medical examiner, to which he pled guilty. Oh, dang, he pled guilty? Oh, wow.
told us?
That's
Have we
crazy.
discussed anything off tape we have not discussed on tape?
No, sir.
Alright, that would include this statement. The current time
Wait,
is
so you're telling me that
6:20.
he wasn't charged with anything else? He was just charged with that? Oh my God. Oh my God. There's no way. There's no way that's true. Okay, that better be a lie.
9 p.m.
Well, it's pending. Wait, when was this made? This was made 11 months ago? Or whatever. I don't know, but that's ridiculous.
Lainey was found between her bed and the wall, and according to reports,
Oh,
she was
yeah.
starting to bloat with marbled skin and apparent skin slippage. At the very least, Justin is currently facing charges of failing to report his mother's death.
Okay. Okay, I guess that works. Why did I say that works? I would imagine he's gonna get charged with more, because there's no way. You can't even, like, I mean, but how are you gonna prove it was him? I don't know. No, I'm dumb. That's a dumb question, because if he's living there, yeah, no, I'm stupid. If he was living there, yeah. If a man's living in a house and he doesn't know about someone being dead, I mean, that's kind of suspicious, especially when the dead body is shoved down a bed. Like, bro, like, dude. Oh, who else did it then? The boogeyman? Like, come on. Alright, it's time. The internet's darkest corners, bro. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this video, but I saw one of these videos, and bro, I was kind of left like, ooh, God, it's a little disturbed. So I'm ready for this. I'm ready to see exactly how bad this will be.
Instruments are dependable reference, which first.
Bro is reacting to the side quest instead of the main quest. What's the main quest? Explain to me that one. I should react to satisfying videos. Bro, no. I don't. Those are trash. Oh. Can I go back, please? Of course. I'm pretty sure that was a puppet. There's no way they put a puppet inside of a hospital bed for an ad. And what is this ad for? Innovation. Termination. Okay, bro. Okay. It's stupid.
Officer and
Oh my God, I accidentally skipped to the end. Alright, dude. Okay, stop. Just start it.
White and engine instruments are dependable reference, which first officer and captain.
Alright, is the quality's good.
Out into the
Quality of a Canadian store.
find
Okay, can I
smooth
just... Oh my God.
which first officer
Contains stories and imagery that may disturb some viewers, include death. Okay. Okay.
and captain
Interesting.
peer out into the distance to find the smooth, clear
That ain't
way.
spooky, I agree.
August 31st, 1988. An airplane sits motionless at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport as passengers begin to slowly take their seats. 78 people in total were scheduled to fly that day, with the craft being piloted by Captain Larry Davis, First Officer Kerry Kirkland, and flight engineer Stephen Judd.
Okay, so
A
my
crew that
guess is
boasted
of
an
why they're talking about who's piloting is probably because it's gonna crash, and one of them decided to crash it.
impressive
That's my
30,000
guess.
hours of flight time amongst them. It was a notably windy day for the flight
Oh
bound
no,
for
there's
Salt
gonna be
Lake
some
City,
sort of
Utah.
accident.
So much so that
I
by the
would say
time they
this
had
is
pulled away
disturbing.
from the
I don't
gate
know.
and reached the runway, a call was sent down to the cockpit directing them to hold their position for an additional minute, as the gusts now swelled more and more ferociously. The hold again left the craft stationary, allowing for a few moments in which the crew members spoke amongst themselves.
We forgot something on our first leg today. We forgot to discuss about the dating habits of our flight attendants so we could get it on the recorder, you know, in case we crashed and the media would have some
Yep, it's gonna be a crash.
The voice you're hearing is that of First Officer Kerry Kirkland, who mentions a point that, in passing, seems completely out of the blue, that they should talk about the dating habits of their flight attendants, as it would give the media something to talk about in the event that they crashed. As bizarre as this line sounds, Kerry was actually referencing a separate incident that had happened not even a year before, with that being the crash of Flight 1713.
A few seconds of
Okay, why is it in my
indescribable
left
terror
ear?
on runway 35 left. Too many people die in an instant. We ask again, why them and not us?
In that scenario, the pilots of the flight had also been awaiting takeoff, this time in the midst of a brutal blizzard. And rather than discussing their takeoff, they instead had conversations about the stewardesses on board, joking and laughing amongst themselves about the manner in which they dated around, with these pilots getting so lost in that conversation that they completely forgot to de-ice their plane. A mistake
Okay.
they likely never even realized, as just moments after takeoff, rather than the plane soaring high above the ground, it raised only slightly before falling limp, crashing into the dirt below it and killing 28 people on
What?
board.
Wait, how high did it go? Wait, this is okay. This is a sad story. I wouldn't. Oh no. And this story, I guarantee, is just more of a reason why people will not fly planes. And I cannot
Including those
argue
two
against
pilots.
it. Like, how do you have pilots that just completely forget something that important? It's like, then it makes you wonder, if I go on my plane, are the pilots going to remember everything? You'd hope so, but are they really? Because all it takes is one, the leader, for example, to have a bad day or, oh, I'm having a forgetful day. Boom, it's all over.
The story made national and international headlines, making it a topical reference for Kerry to bring up, yet also a clearly inappropriate one, as he had failed to notice the irony in his words. Following the crash of 1713, new stricter guidelines were put in place so that pilots would keep their conversation focused on the takeoff process until they were well established in the air. Yet here, Kerry was joking around with the crew, not even noticing that he too was creating a distraction. One that sucked in not
I
only one
get
of their
it.
flight attendants, but even the captain himself.
Oh. Wait, so they actually banned it? They made it so that you can't talk about anything besides work as like a cockpit person? That's crazy. I didn't know that.
191 seems to be the classic airline crash that the news media goes for every time.
Which led to Kerry providing one last bit of gallows humor.
Yeah, you know that Continental that crashed in Denver? Did you read that? Yeah, they were talking about the dating habits of one of the flight attendants. Had a real nice conversation, laugh, you know. We gotta leave something for our wife and children to listen to.
Why? This is stupid.
He was well aware of just how much the media loved a good plane crash segment, and unbeknownst to
Why
that
is he
distracted
talking
crew
about
within
it,
the cockpit, they were about to give them a fresh story.
There's no way.
Power set. Engine instruments look good. Airspeed's coming up both sides. DR, D2. Engine failure. We got an engine failure.
Oh nah. Off the rip. Okay, this is the type of stuff that creeps me out, bro. Oh my god, I got goosebumps all over, bro. Come on. It's like when you hear a video like that where it's like the audio of the last moments of a bunch of people, it's just disturbing.
22 seconds.
22 seconds?
That's all the airtime the craft could muster, as immediately upon the wheels lifting
happened?
off the ground, the craft began to roll right, with the wing striking the runway and catching on fire as it clipped a nearby antenna that was anchored to the ground. The plane was immediately uncontrollable and completely unable to gain any sort of significant altitude, as it fell into a pathetic descent and crashed into the dirt below it, sliding well over 1,000 feet before grinding to a halt. In the carnage, 14 people would lose their lives, including 2 of the flight attendants, while miraculously, all others survived, including everyone heard on this fateful recording.
Of
All of
course.
whom were swiftly fired, though not criminally convicted, despite the fact that the crash was deemed...
Okay, I'm sorry, but okay, I gotta say I'm sorry, but the point is no, they should be criminally convicted because there's literally a rule that is in place just to stop this, and they broke the rule. Like, you can't just be like, oh, it's fine. Then again, is it a crime to break rules of a company? Not necessarily. No, whoa, I don't even know what the issue is, though. What did they mess up?
...to have been caused by their own human error. What the crew had failed to realize was that as they joked about the pilots of Flight 1713 and their untimely distraction, they too had distracted themselves to the point of forgetting an integral step of the takeoff process. They had failed to lower their wing flaps and slats for takeoff. And without these in proper position, the flight never stood a chance, making the final words inside that cockpit some of the most chillingly ironic ever recorded, with this audio going on to become yet another disturbing oddity found within the dark corners of the
Okay. Okay, I'll pause this. Yeah, things like this though, like, dude, how do you forget? I mean, I'm not a pilot, so I'm gonna sound like an idiot because I have no clue what I'm talking about. But how do you forget that? The flaps sounds pretty important. I don't know, but apparently you can't fly without them. Like, how do you forget that? This is what I'm talking about. This is why people have fear of planes. Now I'm like suspicious of all pilots and any plane I go into forever. Okay, that's not true. I'll probably forget about this in like 2 days, but whatever. I'll pretend like because let's be honest, like, it's so rare for stupid plane crashes to happen that it's like, dude, why fret over it? But at the same time, it's like, dude, if it happens, you're lucky in the wrong way. You beat the odds. Let's just say that. Ugh, I don't like this footage.
Before we get into our next case, I want to first thank today's detailed data brokers, but you recently have to worry, and I value your trial, and that we didn't know how much time had passed.
What? Okay, what?
JJ didn't know how much time had passed.
That just looks like Thomas's train.
The soundless haze that had moved in all around him. JJ could no longer see the stars or the moon.
Snapchats from the sky. Oh, come on. You're in another plane one? Okay,
the world
great.
of flying is often a scary and complex one, and our first case shows just how important it is for pilots to properly check their crafts before taking off. Something that, even as a pilot in training, 18-year-old Connor Quisenberry understood all too well. A well-studied student of the ATP flight school, Connor had made it his life's mission to become a pilot, completing a multitude of classes and courses at the school. And by the age of 18, only a few steps stood in the way of him obtaining his private pilot's license.
Dang.
The most daunting of which being the high number of flight hours needed. And so, on September 27th, 2023, Connor was...
So, my question first off is, if you get flight hours, do you need to do it with a professional? Because I know it sounds silly. No, it's a silly question, but like, if the student training messes up, what is the professional gonna do? Fix it super fast? Not really. I mean, it depends on the mistake. I don't know. I'm speaking of obliviousness. That's not a word.
Scheduled for a nighttime flight with ATP instructor Timothy McKellar, in which he would pilot a small prop plane on a 3-hour-long journey, thus bringing him 3 hours closer to that coveted license. McKellar was just 22, a young man himself, and he had not been Timothy's usual instructor. But that day, he was the only pilot available to assist Connor. In fact, it was the first time the two had ever even flown together. And it was clear from the get-go that it was probably going to be their last.
What?
Recognizing the importance of checking over your plane before takeoff, Connor had begun performing a lengthy check of the craft to ensure that everything was in working order. Exactly what most instructors would probably want to see from their students. But apparently not McKellar. As unbeknownst to Connor, his flight instructor had pulled out his cell phone during his checks and recorded the following video for his Snapchat.
Oh no. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is so idiotic. Why post that on your story? Well, was it on his story? Yeah, it was. Or no, that's not, didn't say story at the top. Why post this to anyone? Why, like, dude, you're just bullying a random kid and posting it to people. Like, dude, you're just not promoting safety? Is that really, like, dude? Oh my god, I don't get it. Like, I kind of get it, like, oh yeah, I want to get this done with, but at the same time, bro, like, dude, safety first. Do you not care about your life?
The post was scathing, and despite the student pilot not doing anything out of the ordinary, McKellar seemed displeased at the speed at which Connor was operating, telling his friends on Snapchat how glad he was that Connor wasn't his full-time student, and that he'd seen faster movement at the Special Olympics. It was
Wait,
clear
that's what that said? Oh, nah. Okay, yeah, no, this is just evil. Okay.
McKellar wanted no part of this flight, and that the two could be in for a long, tense evening, with McKellar's passive-aggressive attitude only continuing on from here.
Oh, jeez. There's a plane crash that happened in Russia, and an ammunition depot of missiles has exploded. Well, when was this? I don't know. I don't have to be up at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow or nothing. Let's take our sweet time and have a conversation instead of getting this 3-hour flight done. Why are you sending this to people? Bro, this is the problem with this is the problem with Snapchat and Instagram and all that, is that people for some reason love to post every single moment of their life and just all the time. It's like, dude, who actually is sitting there going, oh man, this is eventful. Wow, I'm so glad I went on my way. Let's be honest, 99% of people, when they check stories or snaps or whatever it is, they just tap on it, they look at it for 2 seconds, they tap off. They're not like, oh man, this guy's so cool, or oh wow, look at his life. This is stupid. You forgot about Snapchat? Bro, so many people use Snapchat that's just become part of my life, unfortunately. I don't think it's horrible, but I do think the problem with it is that, I don't like how the whole snaps go away thing, because it's very frustrating. Especially when, you know, you're just like, you want to look back at something and, oh, if it wasn't saved, now it's gone forever. Or the whole thing of like, oh, you can see when people are looking at your chat. That's, I mean, it's convenient, but also annoying, because you can just see when people are purposely like looking at your messages and not responding. It's just another level of drama that's not needed remotely. I mean, I don't deal with it that much because, frankly, I'm not on Snapchat enough to deal with it, but it's still like, sometimes I'll be like, dude, I can see you looked at my chat, but you didn't say anything. Okay, I see how it is. It's like, dude, is that really necessary? You only use Facebook. Okay, we know that's a lie. Bro's posting the time, by the way. Like, oh my god, who cares what time it is? This guy pisses me off.
The caption
Drumming
here
your
sheds more light
fingers
on
is
why
so
McKellar
ridiculous.
seemed so frustrated. As he typed, I don't have to be up at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow or nothing. Let's take our sweet-ass time and have a conversation instead of getting this 3-hour flight done. But that frustration obviously can't excuse his comment.
Facebook clears social media? There's no way. I don't believe that for a second. There's no way.
Or his demeanor. as in this scenario he was the teacher, there to support and mentor Connor. Yet instead, he was lambasting him behind his back on social media, and making it apparent to the young student that he was being a burden, as he tapped his fingers obnoxiously on the plane.
Oh my god,
And
that
these
move
posts
is
continued
so
from here,
frustrating.
as the next Snapchat shows that the two had finally made it inside the craft and had now taken off.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, get out of here, bro. Like, dude, he's still not the smartest in his class. Bro, he's learning, bro. It's like going into a car and, like, driver's ed or whatever, and being like, oh my god, this guy's, he doesn't know how to go to the speed limit yet, or he's not comfortable being on this, going on a highway, going 60 miles per hour. Oh, I'm gonna make fun of him. Like, bro, what, like, excuse me? Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, and it's their first time driving, too. It's like, okay, bro. Like, this is stupid. Bro can't talk when he's sipping out of a baby sippy cup? Bro, this is not a baby sippy cup. This is literally, what's it called? The cups they give you for refill cups at Orlando Studios. They give you these refill cups and you can get unlimited pop with these for 1 day. They have a code at the bottom that expires. So this is expired 2 years ago, but almost 3 years ago. But I keep it because it's a souvenir. L stream plug? It's not a plug, bro. What are we talking about? I'm not saying I'll go to Orlando, bro. Okay. Can you increase your stream mic volume because you still quiet when I have my volume at 100? Bro, I can't do anything about it. I'm at max audio. That's just the reality. There's not much I could do. Actually, there is something I can do. I don't feel like going into it. I'm just gonna watch the video.
Now obviously there's a lot of context missing here. It could have been possible that Connor had said something that irked McKellar, or that he was just not being responsive to any advice given. But this seems to be immediately disproven by yet another Snapchat that McKellar
Oh my
posted.
god, what are we gonna say now?
1.6 hours into the flight of me giving it to him straight up. Forrest, I don't mind you being hard on me, I know I need it. Me thinking to myself, did you really think I cared if you minded? But what I actually said is that we're flying planes, not driving cars. We can't have these weak areas this far in the game. The caption seemed to confirm that Connor was clearly trying to learn and get better, since after all, he was just a student and only 18 years old. But this didn't matter to McKellar, and unfortunately for Connor, this nightmare of a flight was about to get much, much worse.
How does it get worse? How does anything bad happen though? He did his checks.
Headed our way.
Oh my god, he's still going? Headed our way like a group of pissed off hornets. What is this? Oh my god, bro. Oh, I see what it's saying. The weather, okay. Okay, it all makes sense.
Like a group of pissed off hornets. McKellar posted, accompanied by a screenshot of a weather radar.
So I already
showing
know where
heavy
it's going.
rainstorms in the direction in which they were headed.
Oh, so this guy is delusional and decides let me guess. He's gonna be like, oh, well, you can go through the weather. It's good for your training. And then they collapse in the weather and then they die. Oh, I guarantee that's where it's going, and it's gonna piss me off if that's actually the story because, dude, this guy has knowledge of it. I guarantee the driver does not.
This was the final post ever made to McKellar's
Yep,
Snapchat,
yep,
as moments
yep.
later, the small craft would lose contact with flight control and disappear into the stormy night sky.
Oh, genius.
It wouldn't take long for the plane to be found, or at least what was left of it, as using the final posting from Timothy's Snapchat story, a search team was able to track the craft down to a wooded area behind a church, with the flight having ended in a terrible crash due to the turbulence from that storm.
Wow, genius.
And inside that mangled mess of steel were the bodies of Connor Quisenberry and Timothy McKellar, neither of whom survived the impact. With Connor's final night on this earth having been spent facing intense ridicule both in real life and on social media, making these Snapchats some of the more depressing content out there on the internet.
Yeah, that is pretty. Why is it so low quality? English with teacher Luke? Okay, what could possibly go wrong?
Add ED at the end of irregular verbs when making them in the past
Oh
tense.
my god.
That's only for regular verbs.
This is
Irregular verbs? Wait. Irregular? Do I go? No, I'm not going down a rabbit hole. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to waste my time trying to figure out what. I mean, I can get a guess of what these are, like irregular. I don't get the difference necessarily, but I guess it's not my problem.
Rockwell, or some of you may know him as Teacher Luke. Raised in Melbourne, Florida, the now 29-year-old was introduced to a wide online audience around the time that TikTok began exploding in popularity in the United States. The premise of his account seemed simple enough from afar. Luke was an excellent speaker and used his understanding of the English language to create short-form videos centered around proper pronunciation and phrasing.
Do not say, explain me or explain you. Instead, you should add the word to. For example, I'm going to explain to you.
Oh, wait. No, okay. I was... Okay. Yeah, never mind. I was about to, like, completely have a breakdown because me like, who says explain you this? I'm going to explain you this, and then I realized, wait, that's something I would use. And I realized, oh wait, this guy's actually helpful. So, all right.
Teacher Luke's account had immediately become an asset for foreign speakers to better understand the language, though this wasn't all the account consisted of, as he'd also post a variety of other mildly interesting travel-related videos.
Top countries that are the most dangerous to travel to in the year 2022.
And at some, he even took a go at making some more comedic-based content.
I didn't realize until I came to Thailand that I hate Thais.
What?
I'm just gonna say it.
Why?
The weather is just too hot, man, to wear them around your neck.
But none of these were...
I feel like that was not... Okay. I think he was talking about the ties you put around your neck, not the... Okay. So, alright. Why did you censor the word? I don't know what his joke was, honestly.
For the reason that the account grew to the size it did, as initially, his page was followed by nearly 3 million TikTok users.
3 million? I've never heard of this guy.
Content, leading to some clips that I'm certain some of you have seen before.
How do you say this word?
What?
Today I'm going to teach you 3 different ways to say
Okay.
this word.
Alright, let's just feel 3 different ways. Alright, I don't know if I want to watch this.
Some have a hard R and some do not. Negro is the common word used to call black people in Thailand. When I first moved here, I was shocked to hear it because in Western culture, it's a pretty offensive word.
It's hard to label this content that thrust Luke's page into the spot.
Well, okay, you can't just... Okay. You can't just say there's 3 ways to pronounce this and not show the clip of him pronouncing it. Like, come on. Check his TikTok? I'm not in the mood. I don't... English with teacher... I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole. I don't want... Because I have to log into TikTok because I haven't been on TikTok in, like, literally forever. So, I'm not trying to log in right now. It's just not my thing. Do they... black people need to think first before they get physical? It's crazy to say, bro. That's crazy, bro. I don't... This guy was obviously not gonna get physical over this. Like, he's obviously joking, bro. Like, what?
Black people in Thailand. When I first moved here, I was shocked to hear it.
Because let's be honest, if he was in the public and heard this, he would not just be like, I'm gonna throw a chair. Like, no. Because these people have morals.
Because in Western culture, it's a pretty offensive word.
It's hard to label this content that thrust Luke's page into the spotlight, but I guess it could be described as baiting his audience into thinking he's saying something problematic, but instead making it a loosely educational moment, thus vindicating himself from anything he said. Like I mentioned before, these videos were definitely edgy, so much so that in 2020, his page was actually terminated by TikTok, thus leaving him all the way back at square one.
2020?
Undeterred though, he kept on creating, launching a new account under the username English with Teacher Luke, and within only 1 year, it had already gained over 1 million followers back.
1 million followers on this account, thank you.
That video is wild? What video? Oh, I know. Oh, this one? Yeah, that's pretty... it's actually pretty funny, yeah. Imagine saying that to a girl, though.
Account under the username English with Teacher Luke, and within only 1 year, it had already gained over 1 million followers back.
1 million followers on this account. Thank you guys so much. It's so crazy that 1 year ago on my old account, I hit 1 million on the same day.
His content
That's
was seemingly
suspicious.
inevitable, with each video being
So my problem with this is, I don't get why you'd ban someone and not just like ban all the other accounts like how YouTube does. Because if you're gonna bother banning someone, why are you just allowing them to come back on the platform, make a whole following again? Like, dude, what are we doing? What's the point of banning them to begin with? They accomplish nothing.
primed for virality. But what many might not have known was that his passion for the English language, as unserious as it may seem from these videos, reached far deeper than just the online world. In 2019, Luke packed his bags and moved all the way across the world to Thailand, where he would use his love of the language to get a job as an English teacher, working with students from K-12 while simultaneously having a flourishing career on TikTok. All factions of his life were thriving, and for a moment it seemed everything in his world was going right. How could he ever fail?
Yeah, I'm wondering this, because how is it on here? Oh. I paused at the best moment and the worst moment, because I don't want to see this, but at the same time it explains everything. Indecent purposes. Okay.
A US teacher and TikTok star accused in Thailand of having sex with a teenager. Luke Rockwell was released on bail after he was charged in Bangkok with luring a minor for indecent purpose. With one article, one headline, the facade of English teacher Luke had crumbled. But how did it all go so wrong, and what exactly happened that led to his arrest?
What exactly happened? He was a weirdo.
Well, it started shortly before the news broke, when a 16-year-old living in Bangkok visited her doctor's office, complaining of intense stomach pain and discomfort. After administering a series of tests, doctors would determine that the girl had contracted not just one, but 2 STDs.
Okay.
With her only partner having been Luke Rockwell.
Well, how'd they figure that out?
Her mother was furious upon the revelation and immediately took her to the police, where a full investigation was done, revealing some truly damning information.
Yeah, okay.
It was discovered that before the pair had met up for the first time, they had been messaging back and forth for roughly 5 months. And during this time, Luke lured her and eventually convinced her to sleep with him. And while this is horrible enough, some agencies actually reported that the girl was a former student and had become a fan of his content, which led her to reconnect with her former teacher, insinuating that the grooming may have stemmed back even further than just those 5 months. But I need to note that I was unable to find any solid proof of this, so take these reports with a grain of salt. But what is known for sure is that while they were seeing each other, Luke asked the girl to keep their relationship private until she had turned 18, so as to not turn any heads. And during this time,
I mean, it's always the worst part is these people always know they're doing something wrong. You can tell because they're saying, hey, don't expose this yet. But like, bro, it's like, dude, you're almost 99% of times, well, I shouldn't say that, but I feel like a lot of the times it's like, dude, if you're famous and you're doing this, you are gonna get exposed. You're gonna get exposed for it. It's easy. It's so easy. I don't even want to talk on this.
And Luke never mentioned having STDs, and instead he promised the girl that he was clean, even lying to the point that he had showed her a copy of his
Oh my god, he lied about that? Oh my god. Oh my god. This is ridiculous.
Which was likely either forged or completely out of date. Luke's actions were heinous, and his words
yeah,
were
because
that of a
who lies about that? And then, alright, yeah, I just don't even.
Doing wrong,
alright.
Yet actively trying to get away with it anyway. And if all these charges weren't horrible enough, the investigation into Luke revealed one final proverbial nail in his coffin, as the investigators had discovered undeniable proof that these alleged encounters had taken place. Proof that came in the form of video recordings that were all done without the victim's knowledge.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's even worse. Alright, this is just worse and worse.
Following the discovery, Luke was arrested and his TikTok page was removed once more. But despite the evidence for these charges lobbied against him, it appears that Luke isn't actually in prison. At least
I'm
not
not even
yet,
surprised. You know
as
why
after
I'm not
quickly
surprised? Because these people never seem to get enough prison time. Because I don't know why. It seems like this. Like the highest I've seen for this type of stuff for as a prison sentence was 7 years. Like what? Like, dude, this is ridiculous. Because it's like, you know what's gonna happen. They're gonna get out. They're gonna be put on like restrictions. They're not gonna follow the restrictions. It's gonna happen again. They barely go to jail, and they keep repeating the cycle. And it's like, Where are we gonna learn? Let's skip this part because it's cringe and he thinks it's innocent.
Some internet users claim that they've seen him around Bangkok,
Well, it's almost over.
enjoying his life and acting as if nothing happened, even posting stories on what appears to be his secret private Instagram. I was unable to find any updates outside of this, making it unclear whether Luke is still on bail.
Okay, can I question how is it secret if there's literally a photo from it that is exposed in this video? I don't get it.
If he's been taken back into custody, or if he ended up beating the charges. So for now, it's uncertain how Luke's story will end. But it's still disheartening to know that his presence is still looming out there in the shadowy corners of the online world.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, I don't like these transitions.
October
They're
25th,
weird.
2022. The bell rings throughout the halls of the Jiuan Middle School in the Jiangxi province of China, marking the start of another class period. Jiuan was not your standard middle school. For starters, it was massive,
What?
stretching roughly 600 acres around.
That's all?
and it
There's no way. All these buildings? No way. I don't believe that for a second. There's no way.
featured dorm rooms where the students would stay full-time,
Dorm
sometimes even
rooms?
being accompanied by their parents.
What?
And on top of this, the huge complex was guarded and enclosed by a large wall topped with barbed wire.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
certainly a
that's
unique place,
weird.
to say the least.
Sounds like
but as the
prison.
nearly 3,000 students across the campus piled into their different classrooms, one
3,000?
student failed to take his seat. 15-year-old Hu Xinyu.
That's not
The
a
teacher
middle
waited 5
schooler.
minutes, then 10 minutes, growing more and more annoyed at the boy's tardiness.
Wait, didn't
However-
they say this was middle school? Why? 15? What? Middle school? No.
This annoyance would slowly turn to worry, as by the time the class period had ended, there was still no sign of the boy, prompting an immediate campus-wide search, yet he was nowhere to be found. And most chillingly, there was no record of him leaving out of the school's guarded exit.
They have
Confused,
records of that?
staff checked the campus security footage, where they would find Hu walking out of his dormitory, heading in the direction of his class, which was located in a building no more than a few hundred feet away. Yet he never made it there. Instead, the campus cameras revealed a blind spot of only 10 meters between his dorm room and that class building. A blind spot that no student and likely no faculty, aside from maybe a select few, could have known about. And yet,
Oh.
within that blind spot, Hu had vanished into thin air.
Oh.
In between these buildings was a path that led to a large park on the premises, in which many assumed Hu had probably slipped into. But when police checked the area with their tracking dogs, their search yielded
dude,
nothing.
what is that
So they
footage?
took things a step further, this time doing a deeper search of the campus itself, even looking into septic tanks and water tanks, checking every square inch. But again, no trace of the boy was found.
Can they check ceilings? You know, the reason why I say that is because I have a feeling he's probably in the ceiling somewhere.
All they could uncover was his cell phone and other personal belongings that were left behind in his room,
Ooh,
with the
that's
only object of his
suspicious.
missing being a small recorder that he had purchased a few
Oh,
days
that's
before.
very
It was
suspicious.
believed that at the time of his disappearance, that recorder was literally the only item he had taken with him. Somehow, this young boy had disappeared within the tightly watched walls of his school, with there being no sign of him on campus and no evidence that he had ever left. Despite the fact that China, and this area in particular, is blanketed in cameras, seemingly watching every single inch. But Hu was nowhere. It was as if the
Well,
school...
and you know what my immediate suspicion is? My immediate suspicion is that one of the people knows, like, works the cameras and watches them, probably did it. But why?
had swallowed him whole. Shortly after his disappearance, Hu's mother began desperately posting to Douyin under the account Xinyu's Mother Searching for Son, where she begged the public for help in finding her missing child, with the clips of these plaintive pleas sparking immense interest from a vast
What?
number of people across the web, leading to the case immediately exploding in popularity that only continued to grow as new disturbing information began to surface. It started with a revelation made by an internet user in China who mentioned that Hu was not the first student to go missing from the school.
Oh.
In fact, these disappearances were becoming seemingly a yearly occurrence, prompting
Year-
immediate speculation about the
Okay.
school.
Okay. So, how is... I just... Okay. If there was yearly missing people in school, bro, I think I'd shut down the school after like 2 or 3 years, because that's suspicious.
and their potential involvement in these disappearances. With the school becoming more suspicious, as reports began emerging that once police had arrived, they realized that there was data missing from the CCTV cameras, with many of the cameras on the premises conveniently malfunctioning on that specific day that Hu had vanished, almost as if the footage had been deleted afterwards. But not before one of the guards had supposedly snuck a video, which he claimed exposed what really happened that fateful day.
Oh, nah. What am I looking at? What am I looking at?
I'm not sure if I'll be able to show it here, but the grainy CCTV footage shows what looks to be a young boy, lying limp before being placed onto a stretcher and carried away, with many online taking the clip and running with it, claiming adamantly that it was Hu and that he had clearly been kidnapped. And this wasn't the only supposed recording of the incident, with the other evidence coming from the recorder that Hu had been carrying. But although at this point the device was never recovered, one internet user...
What do you mean it was... There's so much wrong with what's being said, because, like, first off, this security guard, like, who's supposed to be, you know, taking things seriously and, like, securing the place, is recording instead of helping. That's a little suspicious. And the second thing is if this audio device is gone, how in the world can you possibly say we have audio from the device if no one's found it? Explain to me that one.
Claimed that it featured a cloud storage system, in which he was able to hack into and access Hu's final recording from that day.
I mean,
with this
maybe.
clip being even more disturbing.
I don't know if I want to hear it.
With all these claims and supposed evidence making their way across the internet, everything seemed to point to Hu's disappearance as being one massive conspiracy, one in which the school was not only working to cover up, but also seemed to actively play a role in. But why? What was so special about Hu that made him a target? Well, one account from a supposed student of the very same school stated that before the boy had vanished, the school held a mandatory health evaluation, where Hu's blood was drawn, revealing that his blood type was P.
What?
And if that doesn't sound like any sort of blood type you've heard before, it's because it's one of the rarest in the world.
Okay, I don't believe... No, there's no way that all these years I've been talking about blood type for like the last 2 years of my science classes, they have never mentioned of this at all. There's no way. What? What? ABH blood. What? Really? Your blood has a normal pH rating of 7. Oh my god, this means your blood is slightly alkaline or basic. Your stomach acid has a pH of... I don't know about this stuff, so I actually, for some reason, I read that and I didn't realize what I was reading, so I have no clue what that means. But still, what? This is real? Why has no one told me about this, ever? And this is the type of stuff that makes you wonder, like, what would happen if they just updated the curriculum in schools? Because, bro, this would be so cool to learn about, right? No, but no, they never got taught that. Like, dude, seriously?
As in China, only about 12 out of 1 million people have it. Because of this, it was claimed that
1 dozen? Wait, how 1 dozen how many?
About 12 out of 1 million people have it. Because of this, it was claimed that Hu had been killed in order for his organs to be harvested and used as a transplant for a local official who shared the same rare blood type. The story was compelling, and with the school's suspicious history of disappearances, people in the area began to...
Okay, yeah, but if there's yearly disappearances and what they said there's 3,000 people enrolled, dude, the odds of finding that many people is so low, because it's 12 in a million. So what? Let's just do 12 divided by a million quickly. 12 divided by 1. That is What is that? It's a 0.0012% chance. Wow. Yeah, actually, I don't know why I had to use a calculator for that, but whatever. Where's the video? Okay, there it is. This is ridiculous.
Protest at its gate, demanding to know what was going on, to which the principal and the staff lashed out in anger, acting crazed as if they had something to hide. Which only added further fuel to the fire.
Yeah,
And
this
with all these
is
disturbing
a weird
accounts and
story.
details coming out from all across the web, the fire raged more and more intensely as the theories grew wilder and wilder, until January 29th, 2023, when a man walking his dog stumbled across the body of Hu Xinyu as it hung lifelessly in the woods, alongside a brick wall just barely 60 meters away from his school. Next to his body was the voice recorder that had multiple audio messages stating his intentions to end his own life, which was done using his own 2 shoelaces. In the time since his body was discovered, lots of new information has been brought forward by officials, who sternly stated that both—
Okay, so what? I'm still shocked there's a type P blood. Like, that's just
both the
ridiculous.
recording
I can't
and the
get over
video of
that.
Hu had been completely faked, along with a variety of other details that the press had leaked, and that an autopsy revealed that he had no injuries other than those that were self-inflicted, and most importantly, that the body included all of its organs. It was also discovered that his journal revealed that he was more troubled than many had believed, and that he was going through a difficult time, with his grades suffering drastically, leading to these dark thoughts. The whole case was honestly a mess, and especially the coverage during the height of its popularity, as it's now clear that people were simply making up stories and even evidence, which the media ran with without question, leaving us in a strange place where it's impossible to tell which stories and which details were actually real. But to this day, the case still remains polarizing, with many continuing their suspicion of the school and their involvement.
Well,
with the most common argument—
okay, yeah, but like, now it's just like, you can't say the whole, like, theory because he's got his organs in his body, bro. Like,
being that the school had been searched over and over and over again, and yet no one saw the body?
yeah, that's true.
Along with this, many have taken exception to the idea that Hu could have carried this all out with just his shoelaces, as he was there for over 3 months. Could they really have supported his entire body weight for that long without
Yeah, I
snapping?
don't know.
Well, some people actually tested out the strength of these shoelaces to see for themselves,
Oh,
leading to
jeez.
various degrees of success.
Okay, yeah, but that doesn't look like normal shoelaces. Oh, no way.
Prompting the theory that Hu's body was somehow planted there afterwards, or that it
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean, that
even
does
him.
seem
So despite this case technically being closed and the investigation now over, it's still very much alive here in the online world, where people continue to question what exactly happened to Hu Xinyu.
Let's take a look at Dewey's Rules of Water Safety. Now, if you ever find yourself in trouble in the water, relax. If there's an emergency, go to the nearest telephone and dial 911. You got it? Good.
Okay.
It was a freak occurrence. 47-year-old Deborah Stevens was making her way through her typical route delivering newspapers when suddenly the skies opened up, dropping down a historic flood on Fort Smith, Arkansas. But knowing she had a job to do, Deborah pushed on, dodging closed and flooded roads in an attempt to get to her usual paper route. A risky decision that proved costly. As upon attempting to take a new path behind a set of apartment buildings, Deborah's car would be swept up into the floodwaters,
Oh,
pinning
jeez,
her
that's a
vehicle
nightmare.
against a set of trees. And in a panic, she calls the police.
911, where's your emergency?
I have an emergency, a severe emergency. I'm in a flooding. My car veered off the road while I was doing my newspapers, and I'm flooded over here on the end of Kincaid, and it's all the way up to my windows, and I can't get out.
Oh, yeah, oh, no.
Ma'am. Can you please help me really
I
bad?
need you to calm down. I need you to tell me where you are.
Upon establishing contact with 911 operator Donna Renew, the two began their work trying to determine where exactly she had been trapped, as this
Okay.
area was completely unfamiliar to Deborah.
I don't know, ma'am. I'm on the end of Kincaid. Kincaid down here by these apartments. There's some apartments on Kincaid. I don't know what they're called.
What color is your vehicle?
Yeah, dark. It's gray SUV, lady. The water's all the way up to my windows.
Okay, hold on for me. Don't hang up. And you're at close to the area of 5801 Kincaid?
I get it's their job. It's just like whenever I hear these type of things, there's a reason why there's like a meme where it's like, oh, they just ask for more and more information. Well, I don't know if that's a meme, but it's a consensus.
Yes, ma'am. I need help right now.
The urgency of the situation is clear just by hearing Deborah's voice, as she pleads with the operator to send someone out to her as soon as possible, recognizing that the water was likely going to consume her in the following minutes,
I mean,
leading to
yeah, she's
Deborah
doomed
growing
either
more
way.
and more panicked.
Please send somebody fast to get me. I'm scared.
Okay, listen
I
to me.
can't
Calm
swim.
down
I
for me.
can't swim. I'm gonna drown.
You're not going to drown. Just calm down.
Well, ma'am, it's all the way up to my chest.
Oh,
I understand. Hold on for me.
Oh, it's in the car. That's yeah, she's good.
It's fine to be scared. You have a right to be scared. Hold on.
scared.
Though this is where this fairly normal 911 call begins to take a strange turn,
Yeah, I
as
guarantee
Deborah's
it's gonna be
urgency
bad.
was not reciprocated by the operator, who began to not only dismiss Deborah's worries, but seemingly become annoyed at the trapped woman.
Somebody save me.
Am I not on the phone with you trying to get you some help?
Yes, but I
Okay,
need
so stop.
somebody to get me out before I die. I'm sorry.
You're not going to die. I don't know why you're freaking out. It's okay. I know the water level is
I'm
high.
scared.
I understand that, but you freaking out doing nothing but losing your oxygen up
Okay.
in there. So just calm down.
Okay, we're really gonna hate on this because this honestly is not even that bad of advice. She's basically just saying, hey, be calm, because when you're calm in these types of situations, you think better. You think clear.
Are they not gonna come get me?
You said what? I'm sorry?
When are they gonna be here?
As soon as they get there.
Man, my phone's gonna die, and they're not gonna find me, and it's gonna ruin my brand new phone.
Do you really care about your brand new phone? I mean, you're over there crying for your life. Who cares about your phone?
And this frustration only grew more and more visceral, as she then began to place
Yeah,
the
I don't
blame
think she had the
onto
right to say
Deborah
that.
for getting into this predicament in the first place.
Oh, come on.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm rude, but I'm
You're
scared.
not being rude. I know you're scared. Just calm down for me.
I'm scared. I've never had anything like this happen to me before.
Well, this will
I'm scared.
teach you next time. Don't drive in the water.
Couldn't see it, ma'am. I'm sorry, or I wouldn't
I
have.
don't see how you didn't see it. You had to go right.
Alright, yeah, okay.
No, ma'am, I was in
We're
the
just
car.
making a
I was
joke
in the
out of it.
parking lot.
That's
There was no water where I was at.
Okay. The water just didn't appear.
At this point, the call had been
yeah.
going on for well over 15 minutes.
I mean, I kind of understand why, like, the way she speaks. I kind of get it, but at the same time, I mean, it's kind of, you're going a little too far, okay?
Still, no help had become visible to Deborah, who,
15
despite knowing
minutes?
just how close to death she was, remained as
Oh,
composed
nah.
as she could be, just thankful to have someone there talking to her, even if that person on the other end of the line was dismissing her and demeaning her.
I'm sorry, ma'am. What's your name?
Donna.
Donna, thank you for being here for me, Miss Donna.
You're welcome.
Though all of this failed to stop
Yeah, I
the
mean, she
obvious
doesn't even sound like she cares, though.
annoyance of the operator, who after nearly 20 minutes now, couldn't help but sneak in a laugh.
In between both apartment complexes on this street, at the dead end.
In the very back side, there's a bunch of trees.
Right there. She showed us 5801 at the end.
Before finally just losing it.
These people are out. They can all see me. They're all standing out there watching.
Miss Debbie, you're gonna have to shut up, okay?
Oh.
I need you to listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
The whole call had been leading up to this moment, as Donna's frustration had finally boiled over.
Oh,
as
yeah,
she
that's
straight up tells
bad.
the helpless woman to shut up. Though despite this demand, Deborah couldn't keep quiet for long, as the situation that was teetering on the edge of life and death suddenly collapsed.
It's helping me ping your location, so don't hang up on me. Okay, where are you moving to? Tell me where it's going.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say except I'm just disappointed in this all because, bro. Where, like, the first instinct of you is to say, where's it moving to? You're underwater, bro. Where are you? How are you supposed to see? Like, oh my god, this person doesn't think at all. I get it's her job, but dude. And then, of course, you got these stupid laughter issue. Like, oh my god. I guarantee what she's about to say. Oh, well, you can't breathe if you're speaking. I guarantee she's gonna say that.
Okay, tell me where you
Never
are.
mind. Oh my. Oh my god. NPC. No, this is just an NPC that's developed to purposely trigger you. That's exactly what this is.
Listen to me, hold on. I'm on the phone with her right now. She is legit freaking out. She said the vehicle is now moving in the water and she doesn't know which way it's going, so stand by. Bye.
Okay, the editing just makes this 10 times more, like, creepy. Okay, can we chill? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I don't know if I want to see this.
I'm standing around the very back side of the apartment complex on the...
See, the problem is it's very difficult to, like... It's gonna be very, very difficult to really, like, find her, dude, because she didn't know where she was.
southeast side, and the only part of her car I can see is the roof and the dome light that's on in it.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? What, like...
I can't get out there to her. You're gonna have to wait out here to me to get to me, so...
It would take officers
Oh.
approximately 12 hours to find Deborah's car.
12
where inside
hours?
she was dead. Her final moments of
Oh.
life being captured on a 911 call, where the operator couldn't even pretend to care. And her predicament was made even more heartbreaking in hindsight, as it was revealed that Deborah was handicapped and couldn't even swim. In fact, she had a crippling fear of water.
Oh,
Following the
no.
release of this dispatch call to the public, heavy criticism was immediately placed onto Donna Renew, with hundreds and thousands of people signing petitions calling for criminal charges to be made against her. But no such charges were ever made. In fact,
I mean, what criminal charges can you do for that, though? I don't know. I don't think there's really much you can do.
she wasn't even fired for her role.
Well,
because this was
okay.
her final shift anyway. She had
Oh.
submitted her 2 weeks notice exactly 2 weeks before.
Oh, wow,
and this
what?
just so happened to be her final shift, which perhaps explains her attitude.
Oh my
And
god,
with-
how could you... Oh my god. How can you... dude, just quit the job. Oh my god. Oh my god, so she got no punishments at all. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the one time where I think the internet should, like, actually do something about this and actually, like, be evil. Which sounds... Actually, I shouldn't say that, because that's not justified. I don't think anyone deserves the wrath of the internet, but, like, dude. This lady... It's like, bro... If you're gonna put your 2 weeks in for a job like that where you're saving people's lives, put effort.
One last cruel twist to the story. Just 3 weeks after Deborah's passing, her mother Nancy would pass as well, with family members claiming that it was due to a broken heart and the stress caused by the ordeal. Though
Oh.
despite this and the fact that Donna Renew has never apologized for her actions, Deborah's family has gone on to forgive her nonetheless, with
Yeah,
this
because,
amazing
you
act
know-
of virtue shining a faint light on one of the darkest cases I've ever come across.
Wait, that's the darkest case? Oh, I don't know if that's... Okay. I wouldn't say that. I feel like there's ones more disturbing, but whatever. This footage, bro, like, this guy edits his videos so, like, good, bro. Oh my god, my voice cracked. Like, bro, I actually was like, dude, sometimes, like, in between, like, transitions of stories, he edits it so it's, like, creepy, bro. Like, oh my god. Oh yeah, most of these comments are talking about the last story, about the 911, because, you know, obviously everyone's very upset. Justifiably, honestly. But to be fair, I feel like even if the instructor, you know, like the operator actually was good, it's like, what are the police gonna do, dude? It's like your car is buried in water. Where are you gonna find, how are you gonna find the car when they don't even know where, the person doesn't know where she's located? Like, it's just not gonna happen. Oh god, Our Night in the World's Most Haunted Ship is... I'm never watching that. Okay. Alright, enough. Alright, one more video. I've been wanting to watch this since I've seen it come out. This guy always releases on Sundays, by the way. He releases great videos. Great videos. NASA scientist becomes a believer after a shocking incident. So I'm gonna guess this is paranormal, and I'm telling you, every time I hear stories from this guy about paranormal, I instantly am like, dude. Dude. Like, he tells some stories that make me go, okay, maybe I have to think twice. Because I'm not really, I'm just like I'm a skeptic. I'm not on either side, really. I'm just on the fence. I'm a fence sitter. You know, it's like, oh, on one hand, you got all these stories of all these different paranormal activities. It's like, well, how is that possible? Does this guy do podcasts? Yes, I think he does. I don't know. But my point, anyways, was I just feel like there's too many stories and like over the last hundreds of years of like, you know, paranormal things to just be like, oh well, it's not true because how did it start? Right? Like how do we get all these stories? How all these different things if, you know, it just wasn't real. But at the same time, it's like there's not really good footage of that stuff. I don't know. It's a mixed bag.
Famous paranormal events in history, but it's not famous because of how outlandish the details are. Today's story is about one of the most famous paranormal events in history, but it's not famous because of how
Reddit History Channel. Okay, so we're in. Oh wait, maybe for the footage.
The details
yeah, it's probably
are.
for the footage.
Instead, it's famous for its credibility. Not only were there 12 witnesses who saw this thing happen, but also there was a NASA engineer who investigated this event and ultimately concluded that it must have happened because of tangible proof.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is I'm going to be a changed man after this.
Before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the Strange, Dark, and Mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please replace the like button stickers so you don't...
It's gonna be alien related, but still, okay, even with aliens, by the way. If it is aliens.
Around
a better pause. Okay. Even with aliens, I'm a skeptic of that too. I believe in aliens more than... I've say this, my famous saying. I believe aliens are real, but I don't know if they touched the Earth yet. That's what I'm gonna say. Because aliens means unidentified creature that is outside of Earth. That's basically what it is. I believe there's definitely creatures outside of this Earth somewhere, because if our planet exists, which is very, very convenient, like it's super lucky our planet's how it is, like, and it's been billions and billions of years, there's bound to be another planet with life. There's no way. There's no way, and with the amount of planets there, like, there's no way you could argue that there's no other planet with life. Is it going to be as intelligent as us? I don't know, but that's not the point, okay? But the whole, like, aliens on our Earth, like, there's not enough footage. Like, where's the footage? There's been a lot of stories, especially back then, of, like, people saying, oh, I got abducted by a UFO, and I got, what's the word, I got, oh god, surgery performed on me by UFOs. Not UFOs, aliens. You know, you got all those stories, but where's the footage? I have not seen any footage. And then you got NASA claiming, like, oh, there's, you know, oh, not NASA, the government's claiming, like, oh, we have all these different stories of seeing UFOs, and they're classifying it because they don't want to show the public. Like, I don't believe none of that stuff.
9 p.m. on December 29th, 1980, a 57-year-old woman named Vicki Landrum rode in the front seat of her friend Betty Cash's car, while her 7-year-old grandson, named Colby, who she was raising, sat between them. The three of them had just had dinner at a truck stop and were now on their way home, driving down a dark wooded highway near Huffman, Texas, which is a small town about 30 miles northeast of Houston. As they drove down the road in Texas, which is a small town...
Why is he just using History Channel footage? I don't get it.
30 miles
it doesn't matter.
Of Houston. As they drove down the road, Vicki began to notice the windshield was fogging up from how cold it was outside and how warm it was inside the car. And so Vicki turned on the defroster. And as the windshield began to clear, Vicki noticed this bright light right out in front of them up over the trees. And at first, Vicki just figured, you know, they were close to the
I think I know what this is. I think History Channel made like a mockumentary in the sense of like, I think that's what it's called, where like they mock what happened. They act it all out. I think that's what it is.
So that light must just be an airplane. But as the trio continued driving down this winding highway road, that light that Vicki really thought was a plane landing appeared to just kind of hover in the trees. And actually, as they drove, the light almost appeared to get closer and closer to them. So it didn't really seem like it was a plane. Now, at first, Vicky thought this was just kind of interesting and was curious about this light. But as they got closer and closer to this light, it became very obvious that the inside of the car was getting much warmer and stuffier than any of the heat settings would allow it to get, to the point where Vicky was actually sweating and panting from the heat. Now, all of this was happening really quickly, and so Vicky sort of went from being curious to being kind of anxious. Like, what was going on here? Like, does this light have something to do with
You know, I just want to say this. I've heard many stories about lights, and I don't know what to believe in this stuff. Like, I've heard stories that there was a pair of headlights in the woods, and then the people went to them, and the headlights got farther and farther and farther away, and they found out it wasn't headlights. So, to me, this whole light thing, you know, it's just like, I don't know what to think of this at all. I don't know. I've heard so many different accounts of this type of light stuff, because I used to make a podcast for school about these types of things because it's interesting. So I know all these different stories. I don't know what to believe in this though. I have no clue.
They're experiencing in the car, and then all of a sudden the light that appeared to be sort of behind the trees suddenly came right out in front of the car.
Okay,
and Vicky
yeah.
screamed at Betty,
All right.
"Stop!" And Becky jammed on the brakes, and they came to a stop, and blocking their path maybe 100 feet in front of them, just hovering over the road, is this strange looking aircraft aimed right
All
at
right. I see. This is where it's like, what time period is this? If it's before 2000, I don't believe it. Well, no, I shouldn't say that because he says there's multiple witnesses. So I'm going to be skeptical, but very skeptical because it sounds like a story before 2000. Why I say 2000? Because there's no one was carrying around cameras like that. Like, no one had a phone. I mean, it was like 2008 or something, the first iPod. No, a phone was made. So people had iPods before that. The point is, people weren't carrying around cameras on them in their pockets. And so there would be no footage. So it's just all testimony.
them. This craft was the
Okay,
strange light.
okay, bro.
For a moment,
Okay.
all three of them just
Okay.
stared in shock at this craft. Like, it
That
was
is
so
ridiculous
unexpected
footage.
and so unbelievable that this had happened. But then Vicky, who's sitting there still panting and sweating, you know, she's looking out and she's realizing this craft she's looking at looks nothing like any other aircraft she had ever seen. The craft was a bit bigger than a car, it was diamond shaped, and it was letting out these strange loud roaring sounds, almost like an engine. It appeared to be glowing red hot, and periodically, with those loud roaring sounds it was making, fire would appear to shoot out the bottom of the craft,
like a rocket.
scorching the pavement right under it. And again, this strange craft is just hovering there, right over the ground, appeared to be aimed directly at Vicky, Betty, and Colby. Pretty quickly, Colby began to cry. He was scared. But Betty, the driver, she said she couldn't go anywhere. You know, the road was too thin. She couldn't really turn around very easily, and she couldn't drive straight and go under the craft.
I'm sorry. Okay. This thought just popped in my head. Well, imagine if... I'm saying this now just because that's what I'm thinking. It's so easy to lie about this story and just say, oh yeah, I encountered this, bro. I was just, because you had a boring old drive and you're thinking, what can I make this drive sound exciting? What story can I make up? That's what it seems like to me, because there's no way this is real. There's no way. Because like I've said so many times already in this like stupid thing, is that where is footage? If this happened before, it's got to have happened recently, in the last 20 years. There's no footage. Maybe I'm unaware. Maybe there is footage and it's hidden on the internet. Who knows?
Being burned by the flames, and so they were just kind of trapped there. And so Vicky and Betty sort of looked at each other like, okay, we're gonna wait it out and hope this craft just eventually flies away. But after several minutes, and the craft still had not departed, it was still blocking their way and periodically spitting fire into the ground, Vicky and Betty are like, well, let's get out and see what's going on here. Let's investigate. By this point, their fear and anxiety around this had sort of been replaced by just genuine human curiosity.
All
What the
right.
heck is this thing? And so Betty, the driver, she gets out, and Vicky, she tells her
Human curiosity, bro. All right, you're telling me we have no survival instinct? All right.
son, stay in the car, so Colby's
I
right
don't
here.
believe this.
And Vicky gets out, and the second she does, and she now has an unobstructed view at this craft, she suddenly remembered this Bible verse. So Vicky was very religious, and she had read in the Bible that one day Jesus would return to the earth. And when he
Okay,
did,
where is
he
this
would
going?
return in a rain of fire. And
Oh
so
my
all of a
God.
sudden, Vicky believed that what she was looking
Oh,
at was not some aircraft, but
God,
the
what
second
is
coming
this
of
story?
Jesus Christ. This was like a highly spiritual moment for her. But just as Vicky was about to go forward and actually inspect this thing up close, she heard Colby call out for her. He was crying hysterically. He was totally scared and upset. And so this kind of broke Vicky out of her trance. She turned around and went back to the car to comfort Colby. And when she got back to the car, she found Colby scrunched up on the floor underneath the dashboard like he was trying to shield himself from this craft. And so Vicky, she got right down there with him. She wrapped her arms around Colby and began praying with him to try to calm him down. But while Vicky and Colby were praying in
No, this story cannot be real, because my problem with it is, like, bro, if you see flames coming out of an unidentifiable object, you don't know what that is. You're not gonna sit in the car and be like, oh, I'm gonna hide it behind the dashboard. No, you're gonna drive in the opposite direction. I don't care how desperate you are to get to wherever you're going. I don't care if you have to work a important business meeting, you're making millions. You are not gonna just sit there and have the car in idle mode. You're gonna go and run away. Oh my God, no, this
inside
can't
the car. Betty remained outside of the car, just staring at this craft. And it went on like this for about 10 minutes, until Vicky, who's still tucked down there with Colby, heard that roaring sound coming from the aircraft get noticeably louder, like it was about to do something. And so Vicky poked her head up and she looked out the windshield, and sure enough, this craft was beginning to take off. It was getting higher and higher off the ground. Flames were shooting out the bottom of it. Betty was still outside staring at it. And then before long, this craft had shot straight up into the air and began taking off up and away from them at a really steep angle. And at the same time, Vicky suddenly saw the swarm of all these helicopters, these military-style helicopters, go right up around this craft, like they were escorting it. And then the craft and all these helicopters took off into the horizon and disappeared. After they were all gone, Vicky realized that what she had just witnessed was not the second coming of Christ. Because of these military helicopters that arrived as this craft took off, it told Vicky and also Betty that very likely this was just a US military exercise of some sort. And so
What? Oh, I don't know what to think anymore. This is the most, like, weirdest story I've ever listened to. This is ridiculous. Out of all the stories I've heard about aliens and all that, this is just ridiculous because, what? Like, what U.S. exercise involves having a, whatever that vehicle is, just plant itself on the road and just sit there for 10 minutes? Like, what?
So a few moments later, Betty came back to the car and sat in the driver's seat, and Vicky, she climbed back into her seat and lifted Colby up to the middle seat as well. And for a moment, the three of them just sat there in silence. I mean, there's nothing blocking their way anymore. They're just sort of trying to process what just happened. Eventually, Betty just put the car in drive and began driving straight ahead, crossing right over that scorch mark on the pavement.
There was scorch mark.
But
Where's the footage? Not footage. The photos of the scorch mark. Because if we're telling the story, you should know exactly where that is. Well, not exactly, but you should know the exact road, which means someone else has had to run into it at some point. There's no way.
About 45 minutes later, Betty pulled up to Vicky's house and parked the car. Vicky and Colby, they got out. They said goodbye to Betty.
Where's the story
about
gonna
what
go?
they had just seen. They just said goodnight. And then Vicky and Colby headed inside the house. And as much as both of them did have things to say about whatever it was they saw, they just continued not to talk about it. They both were just kind of eager to go to bed. However, as Vicky was putting Colby to bed, he began to complain that his stomach hurt, and at the same time, Vicky began to realize that she also didn't feel very well. And shortly after that, both of them were vomiting in the bathroom. And this scared Vicky. You know, she tried to tell herself that, maybe the reason they were sick is because they ate some bad food at that truck stop. But deep down, Vicky was very concerned that their nausea was somehow connected to that strange...
This footage this is reenactment, bro. This is low pixel quality, like, it doesn't even look real remotely. Obviously, it's not supposed to, but, because it's a reenactment, but seriously.
Craft. And so it was a very long
So
night, with
ridiculous.
Vicky and Colby being nauseous most of the time, but eventually they both did fall asleep, and then when Vicky got up the next morning, she still felt awful. And so Vicky, she rolled out of bed and made her way to the bathroom, and when she looked at herself in the mirror, she gasped. Her skin was bright red and blistered like she had had this horrible sunburn. At this point, she knew whatever was going on here, it had to do with that craft. She just knew it. And so Vicky instinctively rushed to Colby's room to check on him to see if his skin was all blistered and red, and she found he was still sleeping, but she could see his skin was red and blistered in some places, but not nearly as bad as Vicky's.
I mean, if this story is true, it's probably because, I don't know, maybe that there was a massive amount of flames. Like, come on, let's not be silly.
Vicky, she began thinking about the night before, and she remembered she had gotten out of the car and gotten closer to the craft. So she was sort of more exposed to the craft, if you will, than Colby, who stayed in the car and tucked himself down underneath the dashboard the whole time. And so maybe Vicky's exposure to the craft was higher than Colby's, which is why she looked worse. But as Vicky was thinking this through, she remembered that Betty had actually stayed outside the car for 10-15 minutes, much longer than Vicky had, the whole time just staring directly at this craft. And so immediately Vicky was worried that, you know, if this is what happened to me, I can only imagine what shape Betty is in. And so Vicky ran to the phone, she picked it up and she dialed Betty's number, and she listened, and it just kept on ringing and ringing. Betty didn't answer. Now, at this point, Vicky was in a full-blown panic. Not only because she was worried about Betty.
Bro, just go to the hospital, please. Like, dude, I don't know. I mean, obviously, yeah, I guess check up on your friend is probably the first instinct of most people. I'd just go to the hospital immediately and then call the police and say, check on this house. Boom, simple.
But also, you know, she doesn't really know what's wrong with her or with Colby. She doesn't know if their sickness is going to get worse or better. Currently, she felt horrible. She was nauseous. Her skin seemed to be practically falling off. Colby was in less bad shape, but still not healthy. And also, Vicky didn't have the money to even go to the doctor to get looked at. And so as much as Vicky really wanted right now to just go check on Betty, go drive to her house and check on her, she couldn't. She needed to focus on herself and her grandson first and make sure they were okay before she did anything else. And so over the next few days, Vicky and Colby stayed home, they slowly regained their strength, and over those few days, Vicky actually would get Betty on the phone. And Betty would tell her that yes, she's also dealing with similar symptoms, but she's okay, which was very reassuring to
I
Vicky.
zoned out for a second. Did they go to the hospital?
Vicky also knew that Betty was not a complainer, and even if she did have horrendous symptoms, she was not the type of person who would necessarily tell Vicky. She would sort of tough it out. Finally, after 5 days, Vicky felt strong enough to go check on Betty in person.
Sorry, do they have a job? Like, how old is this, bro? I don't get it.
However, when she got to Betty's house and went inside, she called out for Betty, but there was no answer. The house was eerily quiet. And so Vicky began walking around Betty's house looking for Betty, and eventually Vicky walked down a hallway and reached Betty's bedroom, and the door was shut. Vicky called out for Betty, but there was no answer from inside. And so feeling kind of scared at this point, Vicky reached down, she turned the handle and opened the door, and immediately she saw Betty on her bed. And Betty looked horrible. She was barely conscious. Her entire body was red and blistered and bleeding. There was vomit all over the bed sheets, and there were all these huge clumps of Betty's hair littering her pillow. And so Vicky was horrified. She rushed inside, she scooped her friend up, and between the two of them, they kind of hobbled out of the house. Vicky put Betty in her car, and they sped to the hospital. A few hours later, Vicky was waiting in the emergency room where Betty was being treated, when Betty's doctor walked into the waiting room, at which point Vicky stood up and rushed over to him and said, "Hey, what's going on with Betty? You know, what happened to her? What's going on?" But the doctor just shook his head and said, "You know, your friend, her skin is literally peeling off her face in sheets, and there are blisters breaking out."
Oh no, there's real, so now I have to, oh no, real photo, oh, come on, oh, there's so much wrong, oh, my brain is just confused. It's because the story is so just not, it just sounds so fake, but now there's a real photo. And, well, I don't know what I'm looking at, to be honest. I'm just looking at someone who's losing a lot of hair. That's, I don't know, but either way, it's like, I don't know what to think right now. I don't know.
All over her body. He told Vicky that her symptoms reminded him of radiation poisoning. However, he also told Vicky that that was basically impossible. You know, for Betty, a woman who lives in rural Texas, you know, where would she go to come in contact with something that radioactive? It just seemed not possible, so that couldn't be it. But Vicky, when she heard this, felt like she knew exactly how Betty came in contact with something highly radioactive. It had to be that craft. And so without even thinking about it, Vicky began pouring out the story
I don't know. There's
of how
no
her
way.
and Betty had seen this light, and then this craft appeared on the road, and it was shooting fire, and then it flew off with helicopters all around it. But as she was wrapping up her story, Vicky was suddenly overcome with embarrassment because the doctor was now staring at her like she was totally out of her mind.
Okay, I'm sorry. She kind of looks like that was a sloth from Ice Age. Okay, all right. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna move on from that. And I kind of have to. I know this is inappropriate. Kind of. Why do I say inappropriate? Who cares? I'm not a professional at this. I'm not like a. Okay. Let me pull up. What was his name? Sid. Sid Ice Age. All right. Maybe my comparison was a little diabolical. Oh, where is it? I mean, I kind of see it. No, I really don't. I don't know why. I can't. Yeah, no, this was stupid.
Totally out of her mind.
I feel bad. I feel so bad because it's just like, why make fun of someone for that? Oh, never mind. I shouldn't feel bad.
Thank you to BetterHelp.
Yeah. All right, we're still supporting BetterHelp. Of course, idiots. Because if you don't know, BetterHelp is trash. So there we go.
In early February of 1981, Vicky was at her kitchen table with the phone pressed. A month later, in early February of 1981, Vicky was at her kitchen table with the phone pressed to her ear. She was calling her local senator, who she had already written to try to tell him about the strange aircraft she had seen that made her friend sick. But
What? Why? Okay. The senator? What is the senator gonna do? Oh my god, I'm so confused. This is so... it sounds made up. It just does. It really does. But that photo, I mean, it could just be like a random other... I mean, for all we know, it could be a whole different issue. Like, oh, well, this person was losing their hair already, and then they decided to make up a story about it. I don't know.
But Vicky did not have high hopes about this phone call because she had already been ignored so many times by so many people when it came to this story. So by this point, Vicky and her grandson Colby had basically recovered from their nausea and their burns. However, Betty had not recovered. She was still cycling in and out of the hospital. She was in constant pain. She still had burns all over her. And in fact, because of all these symptoms, she had to move in with her brother. Now, Vicky was certain that all these symptoms Betty had were radiation sickness caused by the radiation from this aircraft they came in contact with, but it was like everybody they told about this aircraft didn't believe them. Just then, Vicky heard a woman's voice break through the hold music. It was the local senator's secretary. And so Vicky quickly explained why she was calling and why she really wanted to talk to the local senator. But the secretary just told Vicky that, yep, she'll pass this along to the senator and he'll be in touch. And then she hung up. And for Vicky, this was the moment she snapped. She felt like trying to navigate the proper channels to try to figure out what this aircraft was and...
Oh, I get it. Why does it feel like my chair is, like, collapsing? Okay, it's not. I'm being delusional. I think she's trying to figure out if this was a military thing. Maybe.
What happened to Betty was not working because clearly nobody was taking her seriously. And so Vicky slammed the phone down and just sat there frustrated, having no idea what to do. But as she sat there, Vicky remembered there was actually one place she had not called yet, specifically because she didn't want to call this place.
Don't say
it
it's
was
the
a
president.
UFO research center. And Vicky hadn't called because she did not believe the craft she had seen was a UFO. She believed it was a military aircraft.
UFO research center? Those are real? Oh my god, stop showing this weird footage. I don't get it.
Seen the helicopters escorting it away, and that made the most sense. It had to be military. But if she called the UFO Research Center and people found out about that, it would make her look even crazier because now she's claiming the craft was aliens or something. But now Vicky felt like she had run out of options. So she picked up the phone, grabbed the piece of paper with the number on it, and dialed. A couple days later, a scientist named John Schuessler drove down the winding wooded highway into Huffman, Texas. He was going to meet up with Vicky. John was an aerospace engineer for NASA. However, he also spent a lot of time investigating UFO sightings. Vicky's call to that UFO research center had created a lot of excitement in the UFO community, and the story had eventually found its way to John, who decided he would take on the case.
Wait, his name was John? Okay, no way. I was named John. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was something else.
Community, and the story had eventually found its way to John, who decided he would take on the case. Now, to be clear, John was not into researching UFO sightings in order to prove they really happened. Actually, it was sort of the opposite. He would look into reported UFO sightings in order to prove they were not UFOs. He would find...
Okay, see, this is, that's honestly, I respect it. I actually do respect it because, you know, the problem with these stories is that people will believe them, but the thing is, it's just, okay, I can't pronounce my thoughts at all. It's so hard because it's just a lot. But my point basically is just like it's so easy for them to be fake or just coincidences or something else that is explainable, and it's like, you know, it's just easier. It's better to be a skeptic and try to prove that's fake first, and if you can't, well then it's like, oh,
find a rational scientific explanation that debunked the sighting. That's sort of what he did. And so with Vicky's case, that was his intention, to go to Huffman, Texas, talk to Vicky, and explain away with science and rationale what happened here. That this was not, you know, aliens. This was something
how are you going to
ordinary,
explain that
like
away?
a government aircraft. And so John eventually got to Vicky's house, and he went inside and he chatted with Vicky, and she talked him through all the details of the story. And then eventually, they both left Vicky's house, they hopped in their respective cars, and headed out to go to the actual site where this had happened.
Okay,
and
good.
when they got there, and John got out of the car, he didn't need Vicky to direct him to the specific site, because right in front of him was this really obvious black circle.
Wait, am I blind? Like, I don't see it. I mean, this looks like it's like destroyed. But I don't see any, and by the way, this is a long time ago. And I've told you, I've already said this, but I think that any UFO story that is before 2000 is automatically skeptical because a lot of the stories that came out about UFOs happened in very late 1900s or, you know, early 1900s even too. And it's very easy to just say things or make things up or not know what you're talking about, because we had a lot less understanding of science and just stuff in general, and we didn't have, I don't know, this looks like it's probably like a long time ago, 1950s, so yeah.
Specific site, because right in front of him was this really obvious black circle right in the middle of the road, as if the road itself had been melted and then re-solidified and actually looked different. And Vicky said, that's where it was. That's where the craft was hovering. Those marks are from the craft. Now, this was great evidence that a craft really had been here, but John wanted more. He needed to figure out what kind of craft this really was. And so he told Vicky he was going to leave and go canvass the area for witnesses, and he told her he would keep her updated. So Vicky left, and John drove up the road until he reached some campsites and farmhouses. And John systematically went from door to door and tent to tent, asking anybody if they had seen or heard any aircraft or anything strange on the night of December 29th. Now, going into this, John didn't really know what to expect from these people he was asking. I mean, he's some random scientist showing up uninvited at people's homes, asking if they've seen strange lights in the sky. However, every single person he spoke to said that yes, they had seen that aircraft on December 29th.
Okay, this is months later. How do you remember what happened on December 29th? Like, what? Do people just like, I don't know. I'm not a person who remembers dates like this. So to me, it's like, this is strange. Like, how do you just go, oh, I remember what I did on December 29th. Like, what? I don't know. That just seems very, really weird.
However, they were obviously just farther away than Vicky and Betty and Colby had been. So now, John felt like he had enough information to speak directly with military officials. However, when he contacted all the military bases in the area, all those officials he spoke to told him absolutely that on December 29th, there were 0 military operations happening. John found this very frustrating, because to him, it seemed very clear that these officials were just lying to him.
Well, okay, very clear. I don't know. I mean, it also could just be outside people that are not near the area they're doing it. I don't know.
But what they were lying about and why was unclear. So John actually went to these military bases to speak to the officials face to face. And when he did, he showed them all the witness testimonies saying what they had seen on December 29th, And he also told them that with his own eyes, he had seen the black scorched mark on the pavement, where the pavement seemed to have literally melted in a ring and re-solidified from the heat of this craft. And to John, I mean, that scorch mark almost proved something had been there, very likely a military craft. But all these military leaders, despite hearing this and hearing John's testimony, they just said, you know what, you can gather up all the evidence you think you have here, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't prove that we were in the area. There was no military craft there that night. And so the bottom line was, the military was adamant they were not involved. And so the case really began to stall. John went home, but he couldn't stop thinking about the case, and so he kept in touch with his witnesses and periodically checked in with military officials, but nothing seemed to change. Except that Betty continued to get sicker and sicker, and Vicky actually began to develop other serious symptoms, like developing cataracts in one of her eyes.
What's
and
a
then
cataract?
John got a frantic call from one of his witnesses. They told him they had just seen something truly incredible. And as John listened to the story, he felt his heart sink, because now he knew the military had been lying to him about being out there on December 29th. Clearly they had been, and very likely it was their aircraft that had made Betty, Vicky, and Colby so sick. But now, John also knew that any hope he had of proving this was now literally gone, because the witness told him that black government vehicles had rolled up to the incident site out on that road, and they'd come along with construction vehicles, and for no clear traffic-related reason, they had cut up one particular stretch of that road, taken it with them, and left. And that particular stretch of road that was removed just happened to be the exact spot where that scorch mark had been left.
Okay, that's interesting.
It was like they were taking the evidence and getting rid of it. Now, John
Wait, did anyone take a photo of it, though? Oh, well, no, because there's a supposed photo of it earlier in the video, but I couldn't see anything in it, so I must be blind.
Was not able to literally go back to the road and see for himself where the pavement had been cut. However, not long after John learned this information, a group of UFO scientists descended on the road to find this scorch mark, or to prove it had been cut out and taken away like the witness had said. And sure enough, when they got out there, they didn't find the scorch mark. Instead, they found nice, fresh, brand new pavement. The strange event that Vicky, Betty, and Colby experienced on the night of December 29th, 1980, is widely considered to be one of the most famous and credible UFO sightings of all time. It's now known as the Cash
I mean, is it credible? I don't know.
Landrum incident, after Betty and Vicky's last names, and to this day, nobody has been able to come up with a rational explanation for what happened if it wasn't.
Wow, that's a very good drawing. I'm not gonna lie. Wow.
UFO. To this day, the US government maintains that they did not have any military operations happening on December 29th. However, they did say when it comes to cutting out the road and paving over it, that that was just for routine maintenance. They were not trying to hide evidence. As for Vicky and Betty, over the years, their health continued to deteriorate. They ultimately filed a lawsuit against the government, but because they couldn't actually prove that the aircraft even existed or that it caused their health problems, their lawsuit was ultimately dismissed. Both women would eventually die from cancer, which Colby believes is a direct result from radiation exposure. As for Colby, he's still alive and continuing to seek answers.
Huh. This is interesting, I guess. I mean, honestly, after hearing this, I am so lost on what to think because the story sounds so ridiculous. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. There's not really much that's like telling me like, oh, this is potentially real. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what to think. I wish I could understand.
The official Mr. Ballin Podcast YouTube channel.
Yeah, this is just all talk about is, yeah, okay. Alright. I don't know. I watched a heartbreaking interview with Betty where she cried as she said her pastor told her she wasn't welcome at the church anymore because of the incident. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's horrific. It's interesting to hear about the hot flames coming from the craft that would indicate the craft is burning fuel, and that is not something I would expect from an intergalactical spacecraft. I don't know. What else would it burn? I don't know. Oh, because it's going to run on electric, maybe? I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't know what to think, because why would the U.S. government lie about their stupid, not the U.S. government, the U.S. military lie about what they were doing on December 29th? Like, what right do they have to do that? Well, what right? They have plenty of right to do that, but why would they? I don't know. I don't know what to think. Anyways, that's the end of this stream. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. And, yeah. Peace.